Hello everybody, welcome to the Red Devil Experience. My name is Eric. Hope everybody is doing well. We got the latest Manchester United updates surrounding transfers, player exits, and general news. Hope everybody is doing well on this Sunday. We got quite a lot of stuff to get into, so please make sure you smash the like button to help the channel grow, because we greatly appreciate that. We are also on the road to 3,500 subscribers. We're currently at 3,060. So if you're not a subscriber, make sure you do subscribe so you stay up to date with all the content. Hit the notification bell icon so you never miss a live and you hear from the very beginning and you get all the information and all the news. But other than that, let's just get straight into the stuff. Now, since we haven't been live for the past couple of days, I'm going to start with some of the news from yesterday. So some of you might be up to date. Some of you might be a little bit out of the loop like me because I've been busy. So let's just start off with this real quick. We're going to jump around today a little bit. It's a little less organized, but we'll get through it like we have done in the past. Don't worry about it. So one of the updates that we got was about Joao Palhinha. Now, in the last show, we did speak a little bit about Joao Palhinha. He was linked with us. There is problems going on there between him and Bayern Munich. It hasn't gone great for him since he's gone there. He hasn't played a lot. There's question marks over his future. And there's links to Manchester United at the current moment in time. One of the updates that came yesterday that followed up from the last time we were live and we spoke with each other is that United are targeting Joao Palhinha to add physicality and experience to their midfield. The Red Devils are continuing talks with their primary targets before making a move for the Portuguese international. Ruben Amorim is keen to include Palhinha in his wider squad plans, but a move will only materialize if the financial conditions align with Manchester United's expectations. I think, listen, Palhinha is an experienced player for sure. I agree sort of with kind of the last sort of sentence of that. It has to be a good financial deal because of his age. I think he's still a good player. I think it's somebody that we can use in the squad. He obviously played under Ruben Amorim, so he should fit the system. He has Premier League experience, of course, as well. So there's a lot of boxes that sort of tick with him. The only thing is that his age, he is an older player. So we got to be careful in that sense, because you don't want something sort of like a Casemiro. I don't think we'll get in that range, because that's kind of, you know, that deal was a bad deal that we made. And I think Ineos are obviously been trying to avoid these sorts of things, and they're a lot more cautious, and I think they're probably a little bit more smart about it. But yeah, I think in general it wouldn't necessarily be a bad transfer to get. I think it's one that we could probably use. But at the same time, there can be arguments made for, well, aren't we building, you know, for the future? How much of a future is there in Palhinha? He's kind of up there a little bit in age. There isn't too much left in his career, probably. And, you know, there's probably fans out there that would like to see us go for somebody, you know, younger, you know, 22, 23, 24, 25 years of age. And I can't go against that. But at the current moment in time, I kind of just feel like we you know, we keep saying like, oh, you know, the window just kind of opened, but we don't have that much time, to be quite honest. I mean, most of us have said that we want, and Ruben Amorim has also said, and we also know that Ruben Amorim wants his signings in before preseason, and preseason is not that far off. And we're still dealing with Mbeumo. We still haven't got Mbeumo done. We only have one signing in, which was Cunha, which was straightforward and easy because of paying a buyout clause. So there has been a slight update about Mbeumo. Apparently the price has been agreed, sort of, kind of. We're going to get to that. But yeah, I mean, Palhinha as a player himself, I'm not against him. You know, I don't hate him. I'm not going to like throw a tantrum because we're signing Palhinha, and, you know, there's some people out there that might be extreme and say, you know, he's dusted, he's old, he's aged, he's Casemiro 2.0, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I think he could be a useful player, but the financials have to be correct. We can't be paying a huge amount of money for him. Last time it was quoted somewhere around 30 million. Sort of a fairish deal, but then obviously come the wages, and you have to look on what happens after, you know, Are we going to get stuck with him? We don't. Pretty much for me, any player that we sign, like now, going forward, I'm okay with the player. I mean, they can't be like, you know, no one's ever heard of them, and they're clearly not up to the level that we need. But my biggest thing about the players that we sign is we have to make sure, excuse me, when we sign them, we don't get stuck with them. That, to me, that is the biggest, one of the biggest factors. Whoever we sign, the deal cannot be made that we end up 3 years or 4 years time from now, and if it doesn't work out, or we're looking to move them on and we're stuck with them, because that's what we're seeing, what's going on with the players we have currently at the moment. And the exits from our club are looking quite worrying. I mean, we've always had our concerns about it. There was, I was trying to be quite hopeful that maybe they can actually get it done. But when you look at the circumstances around the players, their wages, and what's going on with them, you can see that it's very quite difficult. Even if you try to do the proper job, it's still a difficult position for Ineos or anybody really to because they're dealing with mistakes of the past, and the mistakes of the past were really, really bad, and we're suffering now because of it. So I don't know what's going to happen with the exits, because stuff is going on around Rashford, talking about he's made himself available to Real Madrid apparently, because, you know, Barcelona's working out well for him, like we spoke about last time. You know, I told him to wake up, because I don't know what he thinks he's waiting for. You know, they're running around, going for Nico Williams, going for Rooney Bardghji, and he thinks that he's gonna get a deal to Barcelona, but they don't seem that interested. Now apparently he's made himself available to Real Madrid. You know, I'll make myself available to Real Madrid as well. I'll make myself available to Manchester United as well if they want to sign me. I'll go in there. I'll help Ruben out. I'll work with Ruben, you know. So Sheila Durga says, Broski, as soon as I saw you live, I jumped in your live stream. Well, appreciate it very much. Yeah, it's been a couple days. You know, I'm leaving for vacation tomorrow, so I've been running around trying to get things done, and I needed to squeeze in the show, so I'm a bit pressed for time as well, but I had to make it happen for you guys. So glad you jumped in and glad you can make it. I said Sheila, I'm sorry, Shail. Sail. I just call you Dorga. It's easier. It's easier. Lyle's here. Shout out Lyle. Says, hey, Eric and all you Reds. What's up, Lyle? Axe is here as well. Says, hi. And Axe says, late to the talk. Please tell me we are signing an unknown, young, and talented player who's going to be a baller. He's going to be LeBron, Kobe, Maximizer, Beckham. He's going to be a good deal. Tell me that. I mean, I could tell you that, but I'd be lying. And I don't want to lie to you, brother. I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to lie to anybody. I wish, because I'd be as excited as you know you would be, Axe. But you know what? To be fair, I'm kind of going through these updates with you. Like you know, I haven't been able to read everything. I haven't really been able to keep up with everything as I usually do. So I'm sort of going through with these updates. But as far as I know, I haven't seen that. I mean, that's a pipe dream. Lie to me gracefully, he says. If there's a way to do that, I don't know if there is a way to lie to somebody gracefully. It's a pretty disgraceful act, you know, to lie to somebody, especially to their face. So, but one of the things, you know, I just mentioned Rashford a little bit, so there's been some things about Rashford, so let's jump to that. We're going to be jumping around today, but so Rob Dawson came out yesterday, said Rashford's preference is to join a club playing in the Champions League in an effort to put himself in the best possible position to be part of Thomas Tuchel's England squad for the 2026 World Cup in the US, Canada, and Mexico. And the other update came, I don't know who this is by, Rob Dawson as well, saying Marcus Rashford is planning to return to training with Manchester United next month if a deal to leave the club has not agreed. There has been interest from Barcelona, Inter Milan, Juventus, and Bayern Munich, as well as a number of English clubs. And kind of what follows that up, because it's also Rob Dawson, says Ruben Amorim has not made a decision about whether Rashford, Anthony, Garnacho, and Sancho will be part of his squad for the summer tour of the United States. Sources close to Amorim have said it's too early to make firm calls on his traveling party. Now, I think for Ruben's standpoint, in terms of making the call for the traveling party, it probably is a bit too early. I get that. Because it's a few weeks. In terms of transfers, it's not. Because if you're saying that to do the best possible job for the manager, we should have the players in, well, we're definitely behind. And we're probably not going to hit the quota that United fans demand and want. And rightfully so. I'm in that camp as well. Now, with Marcus Rashford, obviously one of his things has always been he wants to be in England. They clearly, I mean, the update here, it's kind of a bit of a hypocrisy in a little bit, because at one moment he was all in on Barcelona. It was Barcelona or nothing. Now it's, we just want a Champions League team. So it gives us the best possible option. And that's probably because they've realized what I said the other day, is that I don't know what you're doing waiting around for Barcelona. They don't seem that interested. Seems like, one of those situations where, you might like somebody and they're not really that into you. Meanwhile, they're running around with some other people and you're just sitting there kind of watching, waiting. And you're like, yeah, it'll be my turn soon. And it's like, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Go look elsewhere. Because you're not making any progress and you're wasting your time. Which kind of seems what's happening now. Now, there's interest from Barcelona, so they say, Inter Milan, Juventus, and Bayern Munich. I mean, for me, Rashford has to be pushing as much as possible, because I don't think it's ideal for him to return to training with Manchester United. And in fact, if I'm Ruben Amorim, and I said this last time, Rashford's not part of my plans. Anthony's not part of my plans. Garnacho's not part of my plans. And Jadon Sancho is most definitely not part of my plans. I would not be bringing them to preseason. I would not be bringing them to preseason. I would be letting them know right now, you better do everything you can to find your move and get it done and be pushing on all fronts, because you're not coming with us. You're not coming with... There's no reason for them to be coming. There's no reason for them to be in and around the squad. They're not going to be involved. I don't think it's a good idea to have them. They're not going to be fully 100% committed, because their future is no longer here. I don't think it's a smart idea for team chemistry-wise to have these players in and around. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be unprofessional, but I just don't like that sort of aspect. I don't. And I think Ruben has to be a little bit more ruthless than he's already kind of been in certain situations. And I think he needs to tell them, and I think he needs to actually make the decision from now that whatever happens, listen, if you can't materialize a move, you're not coming with us on preseason. It's just not happening. So you can train at United by yourself, but we're going to America and you're going to figure out what you got to do, because I just don't think it's that good. Now, there's been a thing that happened with Garnacho today, and we're gonna get to that as well. And I'm actually quite pissed about it, because it's not to the Sancho extent, but it's got Sancho vibes. And you know what? I'm kind of sick and tired of this whole thing with these players. It gives off retaliation vibes. It gives off sort of not toxic vibes, but just like kind of giving a middle finger, you know what I mean? And I'm tired of it. Like, listen, we've accepted you're leaving already. Accept you're leaving, and shut up on social media, and shut up on these interviews, saying things, or putting up, throwing up posts that have shade in them. Just stop it. I'm sick and tired of it. It's not a good look for you either, because you know what? There's still a lot of fans that back Rashford and want Rashford back. And you know what? It's not a good look when he comes out and says things in a certain manner that's kind of like you know, middle finger to the manager, middle finger sort of kind of to the club. Now, he hasn't necessarily done that, but Garnacho's been doing things on social media, posting things where it's kind of like, yeah, F you. And that's fine if they want to back each other or whatever, but like, I don't really like it. For me, it's better to just kind of be quiet, go find your place and go do your talking on the pitch. Like I've always stated, it doesn't matter if they're staying or not. I mean, I said the same thing for Maguire. I've said it for loads of players. I don't like that stuff. Do your talking on the pitch. Stop with this social media bullshit. Stop with these little taking shots and doing shade and stuff like that. It just makes you look, you know, it makes you look like the people that have said that you have a bad attitude and, you know, whatever, a poor mentality, all you're doing is kind of proving them right. Because now when shit has kind of hit the fan, you're showing a side where it's like, well, maybe he is an asshole in the dressing room. Maybe he isn't that great behind the cameras. Maybe he is a dickhead. And maybe I was wrong to protect him and to back him this whole time. So I don't think it's a good look for them. Like, I think they're doing it to kind of, they're trying to prove a point and they're trying to back themselves. But at the same time, I don't think it's a great PR move. I think a great PR move is don't say anything. Go get your move. Go to the new club. If you want to speak then, go ahead because it's done and over with. And then go do your talking on the pitch like every sports player does. All the great sports players, that's what they do. You know, especially the goated ones. Especially the goated ones in any sport. I mean, you know, there's lots of players that they used to go in interviews. They don't say a word. They go in the next, they know in the next game, you know, they scored a goal, 2 goals, 3 goals. They go, you know, basketball, they'll drop 40 points or something like that. You know, that's their talking. That's their statement. But I'm just tired of the United players. We always get to this situation and it becomes very toxic and it becomes very like, it becomes very just like, you know, we don't want you here. And then they get angry and they're like, fuck you. And, you know, and it's like, well, you know, they don't stop to think, well, what about all the fans that actually have been supporting you? It's not like the entire club is against you. It's not like the entire fan base has been against you. There's been fans that have been backing you. There's been fans that care for you. There's fans that don't want to see you leave. They don't want to see you doing these sorts of things. You know, and that's one of the biggest things was with Sancho, because a lot of us, basically mostly all of us, backed Sancho as much as we could. And when he did what he did, he lost a lot of the fan base because nobody was going to respect that. I mean, some people, they backed Sancho in that situation over Ten Hag, but a lot of people that were behind Sancho went against him. And I'm included in that because I didn't like what he did. Whether Ten Hag was lying or not, I didn't like the way he went about it. I didn't like the note. I didn't like he left it up there for a week. I didn't like how it made the club look like, you know, just a complete joke. So, yeah. Nubis says, spoiled brat attitude, ungrateful, even though United made them famous. I mean, but it's just to the point of like, listen, this is football and shit happens. Like, and when I see things like this, it makes me question them even further. Like, I really sit there and think like, I'm like, you know what? We've been questioning your mentality or your attitude, and when you do things like this, it makes me feel like we're more justified in it because I'm like, I just don't feel like it's the correct way to handle it, and it's kind of like, again, it's kind of like out of a TV show or something. You know, you ever see like a scene where they're like, you know, you're fired. And then the other person's like, you can't fire me because I quit. It's kind of like that. It kind of gives off like childish vibes. Childish. Like they're not handling it professionally, or as I would like a professional player to handle it. So Durga says, just imagine getting millions per month and your only job is to play 4 to 5 matches per month. Still, you messed up and make drama like a little girl, the Three Musketeers. And this is what I'm saying. Like, there's no, I feel like this extra sort of drama shit that goes on, like it is sort of like a little girl or a little boy, like it's like a little kid type of stuff. Just go gracefully, man. The club can do you wrong. Like Axe says, Garnacho has been mistreated during Amorim, in my opinion. And you know what? Like I'm not gonna go into like arguing if he's been mistreated or not. I'm just going to say if he has been mistreated, he's been mistreated, but like go gracefully, dude. Like go gracefully. You'll have more people in your corner. You'll be justified in the end. But when you start doing things and start acting out, you start losing support. You start losing the public perception, and you start losing fans. Temeskin says United want Osimhen, Mbeumo, Emi Martinez, Ederson, Kang and Lee, Gabriel Sara to United is better for next season, please. I love when he comes with this. It's like a nice little divider every time, right in the middle of the seriousness. I love it. Nubis says, Eric, I've been saying for years that United need to get rid of all the players and rebuild from scratch. Why? Because if one toxic player stays, he will spread the toxicity to the younger players. Yes, but also I would say, I mean, I agree, but I would go one step further and say whatever is going on behind the scenes that has allowed this toxicity to build in players has to be dealt with, because it's sort of like a cancer, and I know cancer is serious. I don't like to use it as an analogy, but it does kind of fit because the way it spreads. It is like a cancer. You can remove one player, you can remove two players that are toxic, and what you're saying is if one toxic player stays, it will spread, and that's absolutely right. But I would go one step further. It's not the one toxic player. It's whatever was going on that created the first toxic player. That the root cause of that needs to be dealt with, because even if we manage to necessarily remove all the toxic players, right? If we don't hit what originally created that sort of atmosphere or whatever, we'll end up creating more anyway. So we need to deal with that sort of thing. Lyle says, again, I will say social media is the worst thing to be introduced to the world. It's so easy to hide behind a keyboard or post an image throwing shade. Garna gonna post freedom soon. I mean, yeah, and this is what it's saying. And that's why Dorga said the Three Musketeers, because this is what it seems like right now. It's Rashford, Garnacho, and Sancho, and they're all either against the manager or against the club. And it's toxic. It's toxic. It is. I don't listen. I don't like to see it from them. It hurts because I've had faith in all of those players, and it's to a point where they've either failed or it's just not going to continue. So I just don't like this. I really don't. I just wish that this is why I want the deals for them to be done, because I would like to move past this. I don't want this to be the focus. I don't want this to carry on and drag out. Our name is already in the mud enough as it is. We have so many other problems. We don't need this. We don't need this sort of stuff. We don't need this. This is a distraction. This is a waste of time. It's just, and it's agitating. It is. I see these updates and I'm getting angry over it, and I'm trying not to, because it's not in my control. But it's just like I don't have the mental capacity for this anymore. We are worrying about other shit. We're worrying about how we're gonna get our players out that we need to get out, which isn't looking good. We're worrying about the transfers in. We're stolen in Mbeumo right now on our second transfer. We wanted 4 players in, probably, for the preseason. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. Doesn't look very likely. I'm worried about the manager and how next season's going to go. So... Lyle says once they're gone, we'll be better off. I agree, because they can go focus on their football and they'll be in a new and different environment, and we can, carry on with what we got to do, and we don't have to focus on them anymore. And it'll be better for everybody. That's why I was said for Rashford, like, he needs a fresh start, and we need it as well. Like, it's going to be good for him when he goes, and it'll be good for us. We don't have to talk about Marcus Rashford anymore, and Marcus Rashford can go play his football. And the same applies for all of them, though. I mean, even Sancho. Like, I don't want to talk about Sancho anymore. I'm sick and tired of speaking about Jadon Sancho. I want him to go, move on, go to another club, please. Go play football, and let us do our thing. Elias says those three are the worst. We'll be left with decent enough human beings. I mean, who could be problem outside those three, really? We will be better. Well, sometimes there's snakes in the grass. You know what I mean? Sometimes there's snakes in the grass, Lyle. Sometimes it's the quiet ones, man. But behind the scenes, you know? So I hope not. I hope not. I hope we don't have snakes in the grass. But sometimes it's not always the ones that are, you know, up front and out, you know, in front of everybody about it. Sometimes it's the ones that sort of sit in the background and create mischief and stuff like that. So, Dorga says, they say they love football, but it ain't true. But Anthony, I'm glad you bring up Anthony because I was about to say something about him. But true, but Anthony is a perfect example of how a player should be. He couldn't perform in the Premier League. He still chose to lower his wage and move to Betis. And that's my thing. Like, out of all, you know, out of all four of them, I actually respect Anthony the most out of all of them because, you know, Anthony has struggled immensely. His time at United was very, very poor. You know, listen, he got made fun of as a fidget spinner and all types of stuff. You know what I mean? And again, I think the way he's handled it is probably the best. You know, he's done like one sort of interview. He never really threw the club under the bus about it. He just said that he struggled immensely and that it was a bad time for him, which I can understand and I can respect. That's totally fine. He hasn't attacked either manager, whether it was Ten Hag or Ruben Amorim, you know, and he's gone to Betis. He's enjoyed his time there and he just wants to move on. And I think that's the best way to handle it because for me, I have no animosity or anything towards Anthony. I think, you know, good for you. And I ain't worried about Anthony at all. I ain't worried about Anthony at all. I wish the rest of them kind of went like this. That's kind of what I've been, kind of been my whole point about Anthony. I think Anthony has handled it gracefully. I think he's handled it the best. And Anthony was the one that I was a little bit more worried about because of what he did at Ajax when he went on strike. And I kind of felt like might be 2.0. And now we still got to wait and see because his deal isn't officially completed and there's some back and forth going on because Cuomo apparently want him, but you know, does he want to go to Cuomo or is it all just real Betis? So we got to see. But so far, I think Anthony's handled it the best. Axe says, okay, but what has he said though? Well, I'll get to that. Nuba says, we need to get rid of them ASAP. We have a bunch of good young players coming in. We don't want them to be the next Garnacho and Sancho. Well, this is the thing. Like, also, like, you know, I kind of just feel like Rashford wasn't like this. He wasn't like this. You go back, watch videos of young Marcus Rashford bursting onto the scene. Go look at, like, you know, the first 1, 2, 3 years of his career. I mean, he was just grateful to be there. Now he's like, he's not the same. And obviously he's not going to be the same because people change and, you know, he's grown up. But sometimes I sit there and I think and I'm like, how did we let him go down this path? You know what I mean? Because he's gone down that path himself because he's made decisions. But also, you know, we have a responsibility as a football club. We are the parent of him. You know, especially a player that comes out of the youth academy. We are their parent, you know, like the football club is their parent. And as a parent, I don't think we didn't do a good enough job because we've allowed our child to stray from the path that they were on. And they have part and blame to that as well. We can't control every aspect of their life. But I sit there and I go, when Marcus first came, I looked at that kid and he was just a kid that was happy to be there. It was a dream for him. Now I look at Marcus and I'm like, Marcus is disillusioned with this football club. Marcus is hurt. And Marcus does not really want to be a part of this football club anymore. A part of his heart says he does, but it's not fully there. It's not like how it used to be, for sure. And like you've mentioned, Nubis, I mean, there's a bunch of young, good players there as well. And we have to be careful with them because we can't let the same thing happen to them. Because we're losing players that we need. Bellingham with a beauty. Real Madrid 1-0. All right. Thank you for keeping us updated. Elias says Anthony has been professional. Credit to him. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Dorga says nowadays they don't produce strikers like Ibra, Cavani, Tevez, Rooney. There's no one like that anymore. Yeah, that's true, and that's probably because the way football is played, you know. And before, a lot of teams used to play two strikers. Now a lot of teams play one striker. Some teams still play two strikers, but it's not that common. It's not as much as it used to be. And the game has just changed. A lot of it is almost like sort of like a false nine type of thing. They really don't make strikers like they used to. They don't. Access necessarily Rashford has been lost on the road kind of thing. No, yeah, that's kind of what I just like touched on. Like he has, and it's sad. It is. It's painful because I never I listen, when I saw that kid 2 years in, I said this is the hope we have, because it was shit under Van Gaal. I was dismayed by what I was seeing on the pitch and the way we were playing. And I was like, this kid is something that we can sort of latch onto, but at some point, it's like, for me to see Marcus Rashford walking on the pitch in the Manchester United shirt and some other things that got on, I just sit there sometimes and I question, like, how did we let this happen? Like, how did this happen? How did it come to this point? You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's not a good feeling. It's just more sort of toxicity of just like, the club is just it's rotten in a way, and this shit keeps happening, and I want it to end. I don't want it to continue, because there are good players. There are some good young players. And I'm worried about Mainu a little bit. And I'm worried about some of the other guys coming through as well, because I think we have some very young, talented players, and I want them to be nurtured, and I want them to be developed, because it's only going to help us if we do that. And I've seen too many examples in recent times with too many of these young players either turning bad or bad shit happening, and their career coming to a halt, or having to leave Manchester United. And I'm certainly not used to that, because again, I grew up on Fergie era. Yes, we removed big players like Van Nistelrooy and Keane and Beckham and stuff like that, but I never experienced a player like Garnacho basically getting kicked out of the football club, or like these sort of young players, like a thing that happened with Greenwood, where basically, like, off-field issues and not looking after the guy has led to some shit happening off the pitch and his career ending at Manchester United. And I feel like there's just been it's been happening too often, too much, in too little of a time. It's messed up. It is. Nuba says Rashford never had a good role model. When he got into the first team, the fans put too much pressure on him to perform. Remember, he was considered as the future Ballon d'Or. Also, his crowd is bad. Yeah, I think, again, I think it's been spoken about a lot, about the people that he keeps around him and how they're not probably the best for him. And also, he's his own person and he makes his own decisions. But I just feel like the football club probably hasn't done enough to try and mitigate those sort of outside factors. You know what I mean? Because as a football club, we always have a responsibility to try and protect basically our child from outside mitigating factors. And I feel like because our club has been such a mess and such a disaster, and it hasn't been such a great environment, we've definitely 100% contributed to it. 110%. And like I always say, it's never just one person or one thing. There's blame all around. There always is. There always is. So, I mean, they have their own fault for their actions, but our club has responsibility as well for it. So, SK says, yo, boss, how's it going? What's up, SK? How you doing, buddy? Access Rashford has been through a lot of bullshit in his career at United. I can imagine how disappointing it must be with United. I believe that Rooney was much more difficult to manage, yet, shit. Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, Rooney was definitely probably harder to manage, but, our football club and who we had at the football club at that time, they were much stronger people, and they were able to manage that properly. And that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Like, our football club has become weak, and it's a bad place to sort of be, and the environment isn't great, and we don't have the strong characters that we used to have, and we're struggling to manage situations and players as well. Because listen, Rooney, fantastic footballer, fantastic, one of my favorites of all time. I love him. But come on, the guy had his problem going to the pub, breaking curfew, drinking, getting caught on camera, smoking cigarettes, and doing all types of things. You know, he almost tried to leave United at one point. Was about to go to City. You know, he had the fight with Ronaldo, and him and Ronaldo hated each other, and we had to deal with that. But we managed all of that. We got through all of it, and it worked. But that's because we had Sir Alex Ferguson and all the people behind Sir Alex Ferguson. We don't have people like that anymore, and the environment was different, and it's not like that anymore, and it's starting to really show. SK says, show us your ideal lineups as signings for next season. You can use Squad Builder. If we have time. Axe is also Gen Z or beyond. Gen Z and beyond are difficult to manage. I mean, yeah, it is a different generation, and it is different, you know what I mean? Box is here. It says, yo, Eric. What's up, Box? What's up, buddy? No, he's not. I mean, I wouldn't say he's crying over Rashford. I think he's just, he's always liked Rashford, Box. He's always liked Rashford. And I think, you know what? He's making, I sort of agree with him, but again, I won't go as far as to say he has no sort of blood on his hands. That's how I would go. Again, I think, as per usual, you could probably find blame to blame all around. I think the club is to blame, but also Marcus has to have blame for himself, but then also the people he's kept around him as well. But his crowd is his family, right? Well, supposedly. I mean, I just know that his agent is his brother. I don't know the other people that, you know, maybe they do the social media or that are part of the team. I would assume that maybe they're probably part of his family. It could be some other people that aren't necessarily just, maybe they're friends, you know what I mean? Maybe they're friends, but whoever they are, I mean, he's chosen them and he's stuck with them, so it partly goes on him, you know what I mean? And then also, just because they're family and friends, he doesn't have to agree with everything they say that they want him to do. He can tell them no, but it doesn't seem to really go that way, because I guess he loves them and trusts them, so he just follows along. So Rashford has been one of the most pampered plus self-entitled players I've seen, but this is the thing. I was saying, Box, he wasn't like that. He wasn't like that, and at some point he became that. The young Marcus Rashford was not self-entitled. The young Marcus Rashford was just happy to be there. He was just he was just happy to be at the club playing. You know, it was his dream. But somewhere along the line, he's straight off the path, and we didn't do a good enough job to keep him there, and we maybe added a little bit of fuel to the fire and making him the most pampered and self-entitled player. So yeah. Totally disagree regarding Rooney being hard to manage. I don't know. I mean, listen, he's had a temper. He had a temper. He's a bit of a hard head. So I think you can make an argument for it, Box. I think you can. But at the same time, I mean, listen, Rooney was a man. At a very young age. He became a man quite quickly, right? Because we signed him quite early, and he was still very young, and he still had sort of some of the same pressures that we see that happens today. So, and there's, you know, he had his own issues and his own on-field antics, but we were able to manage that, and he would always come back on the pitch, and he would always do his thing for us, and it worked out. It worked out at the end of the day. Rooney's talent and effort on the pitch was never in question, though. No, and that's not when I say, you know, when I say it was maybe harder to manage, it's more of just, you know, I guess off the pitch, sort of things, because that's kind of what I feel like a lot of these players is what happens. You know, I feel like specifically with Marcus, a lot of things is off the pitch, But unlike Rooney, it transpires onto the pitch. So a lot of things to him have been happening off the pitch, behind the scenes. But you see it spill over into him being on the pitch. With Rooney, it wasn't like that. He had his problems off the pitch, but he always performed on the pitch and always came through for us. Is it so hard to It's so hard to defend Rashford when he lost it. When he lost it was his off-field work, good work. But once he got involved on a political scale to help people, that completely messed with his head. Yeah, I think there's been a lot of things. I don't think it's just that. I think it's just been so many things with Marcus off the pitch, and outside of football. And I think it's all taken an impact and a toll here and there, left and right. So, and they all pile on top of each other. These are men on huge salaries with lives and jobs. Only the small percentage they should take responsibility. But that's the thing, Box. I mean, listen, for Marcus, at his age, he should be considered a man. At this current point in time. Somebody like Garnacho, he's still a kid. He's still a kid, and a lot of them, you know, you have to sort of be a man to be a professional and play at this level and deal with this sort of stuff. But I feel like with this generation and whatever, and the way that they act, I don't look at them like men. Most of them, to me, they act like they're kids. They act like children. They don't give off men vibes. They don't. And that's sort of the problem that we've kind of been saying. And then the other problem with that, Box, is, and you're absolutely right, they're on huge salaries. And if they're not men, and if they're not protéged correctly, if they're not mentored correctly, you're giving a bunch of kids huge salaries with a lot of access to a lot of different things. So it's very easy for them to stray off the path. It's very easy. Lyle says Rashford has had one good and one brilliant season after he got his MBE, and that is telling. He has been crap for most of the time after he lost a smile. Well, you know what it could be, Lyle? It could be sort of that thing. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the Jordan documentary, The Last Dance, but in it, there is a piece where, you know, Jordan had a teammate who was basically very average. He was a very average or maybe slightly below average player. And I forgot what they were playing. I don't know if it was like the semifinals or whatever it was, or the finals or something like that. But this average player at halftime had was having an excellent game. He was playing above his ability, let's put it that way. Playing above what he usually does. And they went in halftime, and Jordan gave him a compliment and basically told him, dude, you're playing amazing. Whatever, keep it up. They went out for the second half of the game, and that guy didn't score one basket. He didn't add one statistic. Not a single statistic in 2 quarters of basketball after Jordan gave him that comment. And they lost the game, and Jordan went up to him and looked at him and said, I will never give you a compliment ever again. And that's because what happened probably was he respected Michael. Michael was already great. And he was like, oh, I'm doing great. And he let up off the gas. And that sometimes happens. And maybe that's what happens with players like Rashford or other players, is that they get to a point, they're getting all this praise, they're doing really good, and they don't stay grounded. They let up off the gas a little bit, and then they start to falter. Robert Nzaya says no price agreed for Mbeumo. Fake news. Okay. Well, when I read the update, I'll tell you otherwise. Dorga says Rooney was professional as he didn't let his personal life affect his professional life. Yeah, I mean, and that's not rare. I mean, that is rare. That is rare because I don't think that's easy. I mean, Beckham had to deal with it because he had a lot of stuff going on commercial-wise. And then, you know, he had that whole thing with England and people hanging fake dummies of him over the bridges and shit and getting national hate. And And for Beckham, it did spill onto the pitch a little bit. He did struggle a little bit in that period of time. So, I mean, listen, everybody's human beings at the end of the day. Some people can handle shit. Some people can handle shit less. So, yeah. His off-the-pitch work opened him up to scrutiny for so many eyes in outside of football. Remember, his political work was discussed in Parliament, and that took him away from the pitch. It did. I remember that. 100%. And it did definitely have an impact for sure. But I think there's been so many other things as well, Lyle, that has happened, but just beyond that, once you start stacking them on top of each other, you could see how much of a mountain of problems that actually have accumulated that have a bad impact. So he looks so miserable on the pitch, like he's being forced to work at Tesco's. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When I sit there and think about it, I'm like, go look on YouTube. Go look at Marcus Rashford's breakout season, the first season of Van Gaal, and look at the second season. And look at the kid. Look at his face. Look at how happy he was. Look at how excited he was. Look at how humble he was, just to get that opportunity, just to be part of the team, just to be there. And then you fast forward, 4 or 5 years down the line, and that's what you see. He looks miserable on the pitch. He looks like he's being forced. It's quite sad. It's quite sad. But let's just jump to some other stuff. We'll circle back around to that. So one of the things about Mbeumo, this was from yesterday, Samuel Luckhurst, Mr. Positivity, saying the looming deadline of June 30th, the end of the financial year, and the rejection of United's opening offer of up to £55 million for Mbeumo has caused activity to slow down. And just on Mbeumo, we'll jump back, but so Rudy Galletti, almost 24 hours ago, said Manchester United are set to pay around 63 million plus add-ons, 63 million pounds plus add-ons for Bryan Mbuemo. Personal terms verbally agreed. Deal now hinges on final details with Brentford. So, yeah, Robert, there you go, buddy. Yeah, I mean, it's not officially agreed, but this is what's being reported, is that we're set to pay around 63 million plus add-ons. So the fee will be somewhere around there. But we're not just making things up here. We're reading the news. I mean, unless you say that that's fake news, then that's fine. But prove to me it's fake and prove to me that it's right. I don't know how you do either. We just go with what's told to us. Nobody has inside sources. At least not here. We don't. And I think there was another update, which I'll find later on. But one of the things that we had a problem was, as well, is Onana. There's been a lot of talk about Onana, Emi Martinez, goalkeeper. So, what's his name? Paul Hurst gave us an update saying Monaco have approached Andre Onana's representatives over a potential move, but the goalkeeper is minded to stay and fight for his place at Manchester United. Monaco asked his camp to be kept updated on the situation. No formal bid has been made. Apparently Fab said that this wasn't true, but I mean, why? Why? Like, Monaco wants you, but you want to stay and fight for your place. But this is what I'm saying, where Manchester United must now enter. Where Manchester United must now enter and be like, hey, we actually don't want... Hey, Onana, we actually don't want you. Go to Monaco, bro. Go. Accept the deal. We actually don't want you to fight for your place. We want you to go. Yeah, I'll tell you right now. You want to know what Garnacho did? I got you. Hold on. So Garnacho has taken a picture of himself somewhere, I believe, probably his driveway, with his Ferrari and his Lamborghini, wearing an Aston Villa shirt with Marcus Rashford on the back of it, facing backwards to the camera. And then Marcus Rashford commented on the bottom of it and said, "My brother with a heart." So, for me, absolute nonsense. There's no need for that. There's literally no need for that. He's already disgruntled. He's already been doing some weird things on social media, posting pictures and stuff like that, kind of throwing a little bit of shade, taking a little bit of shots indirectly without making a major splash. Yeah, I mean, low-key disrespectful towards the manager. Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Like, I just don't like that stuff. I don't care if it's, you know, against the club or if it's against the manager or whatever it is. I just, for me, it's stupid. It's stupid and it's nonsense. Listen, you want to show Rashford support, text him. Send him a message. Be like, yo, what's going on in the club is bullshit. And I feel bad that he's pushed you out. And it's bullshit that he's pushing me out or whatever. You know, text him. I don't understand the need to feel like you have to throw this picture up to make a public statement of like, I'm being pushed out the door just like Rashford's being pushed out the door. And it's bullshit. And basically, fuck the manager. You know, I don't get it. I really don't get it. It doesn't, all it does is cause more problems because now fans are going to argue with each other. It's going to make everything more divisive. It's making everything more toxic. And this is what I was trying to say before. Like, just go gracefully, bro. Like, I didn't even really want you to go, but now you're making me feel like, go faster. You know, go faster now. Because I don't want this situation. I'm worried about what's happening for next season. I'm worried about the fact that we've only signed one player so far, and that Mbeumo has slowed down. I'm worried about the fact that I don't know how we're going to remove some of the players because the situations around a lot of the players aren't looking great. I'm worried about, are we going to be ready for preseason? I'm going to be worried about, we have a tough first 5 matches in the Premier League. I'm worried about, are we going to win those? Because what I don't want is, again, it's not for Ruben per se. I mean, he's involved in it, but really my main thing is I don't want to go through another absolutely shit season at Manchester United. I want us to have a good season. I want us to be able to actually, like, and not hate the season for the whole season and be like, please let the season end. I want to have enjoyment watching the matches. I don't want, like, and this is what I'm worried about. The rest of this, to me, is added nonsense bullshit. That's just on top of other things. There really is no reason for this. And that's why I said it kind of gives off a little bit of Sancho vibes. It's not to the extent that he's done, but going out and doing interviews and saying things and then putting up pictures like this where, you know, you're not putting a comment, but you are putting a comment because they say, you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words or something like that. Well, that's what that is. That's what that is. It doesn't have to say fuck Ruben Amorim. He doesn't have to put out, you know, a paragraph on his notes. He's basically essentially done it with that post. You know, he's wearing a Villa kit with Rashford on it. If he was wearing a United, like, listen, it would send a different message if he had a United kit with Rashford on it. It would be a different message. You're wearing a Villa kit with Rashford on the back of it. It's a totally different message than that. It's 2 different messages. And it's not like it was like, oh, you know, I didn't think people were going to take it like this. It feels very intent, right? It feels very intent that he did this. Walking around with a Villa kit with Rashford on the back of it, taking a picture, putting it on social media. I mean, I don't know how you like be like, oh, I didn't mean for it to cause any trouble. I didn't mean to cause any sort of a shitstorm, you know? And this is what I'm saying. Like, bro, I understand you're mad. I understand you're not happy. I understand you feel aggrieved by what's gone on. I get it. Because if I was you and I was there and I didn't necessarily want to leave United, and the manager doesn't like me or doesn't want to use me, and the manager is kind of forcing me out, I would feel the same as well. I'd be like, fuck you, in a certain sense, you know? But then at the same time, I ain't gonna go do this. At some point, you know, after the initial period, I'd be like, all right, this guy doesn't want me. Time to get the fuck up. We're going to another club, and I'm gonna go prove this motherfucker wrong by scoring 20 goals in one season and getting 10 assists and being one of the best players. I don't waste my time posting stupid pictures on Instagram to be petty. That's the word I was looking for when I said earlier. Not toxic, petty. It's pettiness. There's a lot of pettiness going around. I don't like it. Maybe I'm making it a bigger issue than it is, but it just, for me personally, I don't like this sort of shit. I really don't. Even like, I'll give you another example, like Harry Maguire. In the first couple years, when Harry was really shit, and Harry was making mistakes left and right, and he was embarrassing us and embarrassing himself, after a period of time, they kept sending Maguire to do interviews. And after every match, Maguire would have a full statement. And I was just like, bro, I don't want to hear you, though. I don't want to hear you. You're making it worse for yourself. I don't want to hear you. Shut up and just show me something on the pitch. All right? Because, like, I love to hear from the players. I think it's great when they speak to fans. But in certain circumstances and situations, you need to close your mouth and go do something as a professional player. And that's, you know, and then Maguire kind of did that. When he lost the captaincy, he went into the background. He focused on himself. He started playing better. And now Maguire can come out and speak. I have no problem with it because he's actually doing good. And it's not the same situation. And I respect him for what he's gone through because he's come out the other side of it. And that's fine. But then they do things like this, and I'm like, bro, please, like, I can't handle it anymore. We have Sancho on one side, we got Garnacho doing this, we got Rashford doing this. They're trying to make my blood boil, man. They're trying to make my blood boil. See, Hesty says Amorim was right all along, and this is what I was saying though. There are people out there that have been backing and protecting Garnacho or Rashford or Sancho or whoever it may be, because they think that the manager was wrong. But when you go and do things like this, it doesn't necessarily help your case. It doesn't, because you start seeing tendencies, and then people start saying, well, you know what? Maybe Amorim is actually justified. Maybe his attitude isn't great. Maybe he is a dickhead. You know, maybe he doesn't have that great of an attitude. Maybe he is a problem behind the scenes. And that's why I don't think it's a good move for them anyway. I don't think it's a good move for them anyway. Nubis says, imagine Cancelo saying to Pep, I want to stay and fight for my place. Pep is going to say, fuck off and get out. But at United, we let players decide whether they want to stay or leave Player FC. I just think that I think we do, but it's also because the situation isn't great. But I think one of the things that United should be doing is a little bit more ruthless, like you're saying. Basically, like, F off and get out, which we're kind of doing to these players, but it's weird. It's weird how we're doing it to kind of like Garnacho and Rashford, but then somebody like Onana, we're kind of sitting on the fence. We're like, oh, don't really push him out the door. We kind of want a new goalkeeper, but, you know, there's some interest from Monaco, but what happens like if he doesn't go there, you know, what do we do then? Like, I don't know. It's weird because we're clearly pushing Garnacho out the door. We're clearly pushing Rashford out the door, right? So we're clearly doing that. We're clearly doing that. But then it comes to somebody like Onana, where it's been reported we are looking for a goalkeeper and we would like to do a deal if there is one. And then there's some supposedly reported interest. And it's like the player says, I want to stay and fight for my place. And it's like, no, but the club should be then going to them. Don't beat around the bush and just be like, no, you should probably follow up on that interest, dude. Because actually, we actually don't really want you. We're actually are just getting stuck with you. So, you know, I don't know. It's drama, nonsense, says Box, yeah. Box is like Rashford doing his unsanctioned Henry Winter interview or Sancho doing his childish tweets. Yeah, and all that shit has to stop, regardless of them. Regardless of these individuals. This going forward, one of Ineos's responsibilities, and it's one of their jobs. You know, along with the manager, but the manager should have help from up above because everything trickles down in the football club. This needs to end with these players. This needs to end with these players. This cannot continue happening. Now, I'm not a Liverpool fan. I'm not an Arsenal fan. I'm not a Chelsea fan. I don't feel like these sort of things happen at this amount of occurrence at other clubs and in these manners. I know it happens in football and here and there. It does happen. But I just feel like the amount that it's happened at our football club, with the amount of players and to the extent that it's gone to, I just feel like we have obviously clearly something really wrong for it to be this common, this often with different players. So I would like for this to be sort of the last sort of, I don't know, last sort of problem stand in this area, and that going forward, I mean, they have the responsibility to fix it, I would hope. But I think some of the things that they're doing also is probably not helping to uplift like spirits and stuff like that. So I don't know, but I would love to see it changed because I think it would do our club wonders. And I think we need it to be successful as well. So Steph is here. Shout out Steph. Says big up Eric and chat legends. Big up yourself, Steph. How you doing? Where are we? Boxes, then we have immovable objects like Onana being the Shaw Malacia, who we can't shift. Yeah, and that's the biggest. Those are, to me, those are the biggest problems because these guys, obviously, I mean, Rashford's a little bit difficult because of the wages and I don't know, what angle they're really trying to go for. I think Garnacho is a bit easier because he's young and there's a lot more people willing to take a chance on him, and also his wages are lower. So I think, you could do things like this on social media, but I think it's easy to get him out. For me, Rashford seems like the biggest sort of difficulty in the moment, and maybe Sancho. Them two, they worry me a bit because my brain sort of does this thing of like, yeah, we can push them out and we're going to get deals done for them. But then I start thinking of like, Sancho putting up notes and shit. And I'm like, he must be a pain in the ass to deal with. And then Marcus isn't easy to deal with either. So I'm like, I don't know how those are necessarily going to go. I feel like it could go either way. It could really be a big pain in the ass and drag out for a long time, or, we'll actually be able to do what we need to do. But then, like Box mentions, then we have people like Onana and B in there who I don't know, that's what makes me question what's going on at the club. Because it's like we've made it abundantly clear that we're pushing Garnacho and Rashford and Sancho and Anthony out. It's abundantly clear to them. It's abundantly clear to us. It's abundantly clear to literally everybody in the entire world. But then we have a situation like Onana and Binder where we're getting news that we are looking for a goalkeeper, but then both of them are like super reluctant to leave. Like Onana doesn't actually want to go, and Binder actually doesn't even really want to go himself. And it's like, but does nobody at the football club go to them and tell them the same thing that they're telling Rashford and Garnacho? Like, if our plan is to get a goalkeeper, wouldn't you go to one of them or both of them and be like, any interest you get, follow it up, because we are looking to get in a new goalkeeper. Like, Shaw is a problem because of injuries, and Malacia is one that's sort of similar because we bought him. He had that long-term injury. He hasn't played a lot, so there isn't a lot of strong interest in him. So, it is a problem. Hesty says, I was one of them that backed him even after the finals. I just hoped he'd go out of the club in peace and doing well elsewhere. But now so disappointed. And this is what I'm saying. Like, And Hesty also said, I really think Garna deliberately decreased his price by doing this as a massive F-off to Amorim to get less money to buy players. I don't know if it's that thought out methodically. Maybe it's to lower his price. Maybe it's to lower his price. I don't know if he's doing it to, you know, to screw over Amorim so Amorim gets less money for, like, I don't know if they thought it out that far, but maybe it's just like, I'm being spiteful. Fuck the manager. You know, I have no loyalty or no feelings to him anymore. And also, you know what? Let's just make it public of how let's create a situation basically of like there's no way back, so that they're forced into giving me the best deal I want, pretty much. Because if things are, let's put it this way, if things are amicable between Garnacho, United, and Ruben, well, there's always a possibility that, like, you know what, we kind of looked for it, it didn't really happen, and you know what, you can come back and be part of the squad. But the further you push it away to the opposite way, and you make things less amicable, well, when other teams come for negotiations, they all know that, listen, we know you need to get rid of this player because it's a problem. We certainly wouldn't want it at our football club. And there's no chance that you're actually going to hold him on. Because if you hold him on, you're not going to play him. And if you do play him, you're playing a player that's going to have serious issues. So it would lower his price. Because, listen, if you have a player that's certainly a problem and is causing problems in the public view, or that you know that there is zero chance of him ever being involved in the squad, basically the selling club is in a position of, we just got to take what we can get, because it's either, you know, if we want 60 million for him, we're not really in a position to ask for 60 million. Somebody be like, it's 40 or nothing. And the club's like, well, we either take the 40 or we keep a player that we don't want, that now doesn't want to be here, that's going to have a bad attitude, a poor mentality, and we can't use him because that's not going to work. And then so he's going to have to sit here and he's going to decrease in value because he's not going to play. And that's probably what's going on. Bach says, I heard Napoli are pulling out of the Sancho deal over salary demands. I mean, oh, my God. What do you do with this guy? I mean, at this point, Box, he might as well just go to fucking Saudi Arabia. You know, I don't know. How can you be prioritizing the salary over, you had an opportunity at Chelsea, potentially you're losing opportunity at Napoli over money. So you don't give, so you really don't give a shit about playing football or going to a decent club and having the rest of your career go decently well. You don't want to be back in England at all, like zero. You give no fucks about any of that. You just want to get paid. I mean, if that's the case, just go to Saudi then. I mean, what are you doing wasting your time talking to any of the European clubs? Just contact Saudi clubs, get the agent on the phone, have him call the Saudi clubs and be like, you know, pay me fucking $450,000 a week and go to Saudi Arabia. Nubis says, actually, what happened to United right now happened to Arsenal during the Nicolas Pepe and Aubameyang era, but they got rid of them. They got rid of both of them, even though Arsenal spent a lot of money on them. You're absolutely right, Nubis. You're absolutely right. Just terminate his contract mutually and let him go for free. Well, the problem with that is that we're not in a financial position to do that. See, the thing about Arsenal is they weren't in a financial position for about 20 years because they built the stadium and they kind of just were never really in a great financial situation, which is why, you know, they did sell like Van Persie to us. Didn't sell Van Persie to us because they were like, yeah, Robin, we love you. We'll do what you want. They did it because he pushed for it, but also they needed money. And we're not, I mean, listen, at the same time, we have the Glazers and also, you know, Sir Jim. There's a lot of penny pinching going on and around. But even so, beyond that, the club's not in a great financial situation. I don't actually think, I think as much as maybe they would like to do that for one or two players, I actually think that if we did that, I think we would probably, it would significantly hurt us, because that's like, you would have to report like major losses. You're going to get nothing out of it, and you're going to have to pay the players off. So it's almost like you're getting double losses to triple losses. And I don't think we can necessarily afford to do that. But I do 100% agree, Nubis, and I've been saying this for quite some time. And I think maybe some people get quite annoyed at this, but I do see sort of a basic blueprint. I understand we're United and they're Arsenal, and I get that. And I'm not saying to be Arsenal, but what I'm saying is, I look at it often, and I have felt like now for the past like year or 2 years or so, I look at what Arsenal did at that time when they had Pepe and they had Aubameyang and they had Ozil, and they cut them out and they got rid of them and they got rid of the shit players and they replaced them. And that's at the basic level. That's what I want for Manchester United. That's because I think if we do that, we can go to a good place. But we have to be able to do it. Now, our situation is a little different because I don't think we can cut contracts, but we need to move these players out. On top of that, our deals are very bad. So the deals that Ineos are dealing with, such as Casemiro on $350,000 a week, Marcus Rashford being on $300,000 to $325,000 a week, that's very hard to deal with, to get rid of. Because if their wages were in half, you could probably, I feel like if Marcus Rashford's wage was like 200,000, 225K, I think there would be a lot more interest and a lot more movement about him right now. Him being that high of a salary, and then him holding out and basically saying like, I'm not accepting a wage decrease, it's making everything harder. But I've always said, like, I would like to see, listen, what they did for Arteta there, and they let him get rid of those players, no matter if they were star signings or whatever, to kick Aubameyang out, to kick Ozil out, reset the culture, get in players that fit, fix the attitude and the mentality in the squad. That it's exactly what we need. We've been needing this, but it's exactly what we need to do at the basic level. We need the reset of the culture and the mentality in the club, and we need to get rid of the underperforming players, and we need to get rid of the players with the bad attitudes and bad mentalities. But at United, compared to what they did there at Arsenal, and it was still difficult for Arsenal. I remember the Ozil thing being a saga, dragging out, and even Aubameyang, it was a saga and it dragged out. But the thing is, they found a way to do it, and they got over the line. And with us, we've been in too many situations, and it's happened too many times, where we don't find a way to do it, we don't get over the line, and we continue to suffer, and we continue to struggle with these sort of things. So, and I'm worried because, again, I don't think necessarily it's all just about Ineos. I think it's I've been feeling this especially more. I keep thinking about all the situations at United in my off time, and I'm just like, all the fuck ups from the last like 3 to 4 years specifically. I was like, if you look at the situation that we're in right now, we are currently being fucked by all of those. Even these people that are actually trying. They're actually trying to make moves. They're actually trying to do serious business. And they still have 1 to 2 arms tied behind their back because of things that they had nothing to do with, but things that they have to deal with because they are in charge of the football club and it goes to the football club. Sancho would sue us. I wouldn't put it past him. Nubis says, if we keep paying Sancho's salary, isn't that also counted in the FFP and PSR? Yeah, probably. I would assume so. I would assume so. I mean, I don't even know if we've paid Sancho's full transfer fee. So from Borussia Dortmund, I don't even think we've completely paid that off. So I think we're paying a part of that this summer. if we haven't paid it already. But, you know, that's your Jim thing where he said, you know, we're basically buying Casemiro, Anthony, and whoever else he listed. I think Sancho might be in that as well, because I don't think we paid 80 million for Sancho, and what is it, third or fourth year? So we haven't even paid off Sancho completely. So we'll have to send another payment to Borussia Dortmund for that as well. So Nuba says Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang left Arsenal by mutual agreement. They didn't wait until his contract is over. Yeah, but it was a big problem in the beginning. You know, I don't know how they got him to do by mutual agreement, but before that, you know, there was a lot of toxicity going on, back and forth. Wasn't great. A lot of headlines going on, but somehow they were able to do it. And you know, for me, I guess that's the biggest thing. I mean, it's easier said than done. I know that, but just we really need to find out a way how to do this, because I am super concerned with, it's not just the players in, but just I don't think it's a good situation for us going into next season and being stuck with some of these players. I think we actually can't afford to have any of them here. We can't afford to go into next season with them. And I'm tired of it happening, because this is like going to be like the fourth or fifth time that this has happened to a manager. And if we can't fix these issues, well, you know, if Ruben fails and Ruben gets sacked, this is why I always say it doesn't really matter who the next manager is, because they're still going to be dealing with this sort of bullshit. And no, it's not an ideal situation for them. And they're probably going to fail as well, because we're not dealing with the deep caused root problems. So every manager has to come into basically almost a similar situation, and nothing is actually necessarily changing. So how do you move forward? How do we move forward? In fact, that's probably why we're going backwards to a certain sense, because we're not dealing with the problems. We're being dragged down, and we can't go forward. Even if we get a different manager and we try and go in this direction and stuff like that, these problems that keep looming, these issues that keep reoccurring with the same sort of theme, until we can figure out how to get rid of that sort of stuff, the bigger picture is not going to be able to be different. It's not going to be able to be different. Nuba says, is there any way, Jim, to inject more money into the club by buying more shares from the Glazers? If I'm not mistaken, we are doing fine with the PSR, is because of the 250 million investment from Jim. There is, but I think it's a bit complicated, Nubis. You are right with the 250 million investment from Jim and stuff like that. So the PSR is okay, but you know, again, they worry about future projections and stuff. We got to make sure that's fine, which makes it's fine. It's like, you know, it makes sense. The issue that what pops to mind, and by the way, guys, please smash the like button. We got 9 likes. We have 17 watching. Please smash the like button, because it helps the channel grow, and we greatly appreciate it. So if you could get that done for us. But Nubis, the thing that pops into my mind, I could be wrong about this, but it's just a sort of a common sense, I guess, thought or opinion. There is a way for Sir Jim to inject more money. Getting more shares from the Glazers, I think, is a problem, because the Glazers have to be willing to sell it to him. They have to be willing to give up more shares for more money, which they might, because they get paid, but maybe they don't want to at this current moment in time. So there's that. Depends how that goes. And the other issue that potentially arises is, and I've been saying this for quite some time, Sir Jim Ratcliffe owning only the percentage he owns and putting in the money he's already put, plus paying the Glazers for whatever he's gotten, it makes the situation a bit fucked, because if you're Sir Jim Ratcliffe, it doesn't really make sense to keep pumping in money to fix the Glazers' mistakes when they own the majority of the club. So it's kind of just a fuck situation. Now, he could technically, so just like how Ineos sponsored Spurs' seats and shit, he can do something like that where he can pump money through a sponsorship deal into the football club, which would give us more money. But again, it's sort of like, why? I wouldn't expect him to do it, because if you own a minority and the people own the majority, why are you going to keep pumping in your own money if you're not going to get something out of it? If you're not getting anything extra. So I guess the best way would probably be for him to acquire more shares and have more of a percentage, and have more influence. But I don't know. Honestly, it's a fucked situation. I mean, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. Listen, at this moment in time, we basically have two owners that are kind of like one, but not really like one, because it's two different groups and it's two different people. They're business partners. They operate together, but then also at the same time, now the money is split, because even if Sir Jim wanted to put in a lot of money, it doesn't actually make sense for him, considering that the Glazers own some 60% of the club. So, it's like if you have a house and you have a roommate and both of you kind of own the house, but you only own, or you only paid about 30% of the house fee, and your roommate paid the rest of it. Would it make sense for you to go to the house and throw in a shit ton of money to fix it up? Make a new driveway, make a new interior, paint the house. Would it make sense for you to do all of that? And you don't own the majority of it. You live there, and it would be nice for you. But financially, would you be okay with doing that? And then the other person you live with that owns the more percentage of the house, not put in a fucking dime. And actually, they own the house before you own the house, and they let the house turn to shit, and they didn't put one dime into keeping the house to make sure that the house is good. Because I personally wouldn't feel okay with that. I personally would look at that and be like, that would be absolutely stupid to do. Why would you do that? You know what I mean? Like, why would I be putting all this money in to fix all this person's fuck ups? Meanwhile, they own 60% of the house, and I only own 28% or whatever it is. So it doesn't make sense. But yeah, I mean, Axe says they set up a secret party for Aubameyang, offered him potent drugs and the services of sexual workers. And when he was wasted, he signed the mutual termination of a contract. I don't know. I don't think that's legal, Axe. I don't think that's legal. I don't think that would stand up in a court of law. Well, listen. I mean, you could always do that. You could always go down that road. They do say desperate times call for desperate measures, I guess. So I guess, I mean, if you're real desperate, I mean, listen, maybe you go down that route. Or you could always go down the Suge Knight route, and call somebody into your office, like you're about to have a nice conversation, and pretend like you're their friend. And then like 5 minutes later, you can hang them upside down over a balcony and tell them if they don't sign the contract, I'm going to drop you from here. You could always do that too, I guess, but I don't think those are ideal situations to be doing to people. So Rajat's here. Rajat, what's up, buddy? Said you were doing good today, bro. Hopefully, and maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Elias says drop a like, subscribe, get in the Discord. Yes, get in the Discord. If you're not in our Discord, you're missing out. You should join the Discord, absolutely. Best place to be kept up to date. All the great discussions go on there when we're not live. And actually, we can talk a lot more in the Discord than we talk here, because here we're limited to time. Over there, listen, we'll interact day, night, any hours of the day. You get all the news updates. So just click that link that Lyle dropped. It'll take you right to the Discord. You'll become a member of the Discord. And we'll welcome you in there. We got lots of channels in there, lots of channels. And we got some non-football channels in there as well. So it's not just all United. And I think I might be I might be adding another channel in there. Maybe I'll let Lyle name it, because he is quite creative when it comes to that sort of stuff. But I was thinking, I was thinking we could add a channel for me, for myself, that I can post updates on my vacation. And I'll just just random times, I'll just take random pictures or videos, and I'll just throw them in there, and I could keep you guys like sort of updated in that way, so you guys can see what's going on. So I was thinking we could kind of do that as well. I know Lyle could do it really easily, but I was trying to think of a name for it, and I right now I got a lot going on, so I can't really sit down to think too much. I'm just keeping an eye on something. Yeah, Pachuca playing down 2-0. Wow, Pachuca 3-0. They're getting destroyed then, to be honest. Well, I mean, it's kind of the first. Like all the South American teams have been performing quite well. The South American teams and teams from Mexico have been like doing good, and they've been beating the European teams actually. So, he is branding, man. Let him brand. We got a brand. We got a brand. Yeah. Let me get to some other couple updates. Am I in the right place? What am I looking at? So, Mr. Ralph Ranick, has made more statements. I mean, this guy has never stopped talking about us since he's come to us and left us. But Ralph Ranick has spoken on Manchester United once again. We used to call him Wreck-It Ralph. Josh says, "Yo, haven't been here since we lost Europa." I don't blame you, Josh. Listen, if anybody had to take a hiatus or left, I don't blame any of you. But it's good to see you back, Josh. And how you been? And taking some good time off to clear your head. I assume you have. Have you been keeping up with like any of the news and stuff while you've been gone? Or have you just taken a complete like mancation, which would be a vacation away from Manchester United. Best I could do off the top of my head. But Ralph Ranick, speaking on Manchester United once again, so get ready for this. Said since then, which is since Sir Alex Ferguson's retirement, I think they have a leadership problem. Slow sports news. Breaking news. Manchester United have a leadership problem. We haven't been saying that shit for 12 years. But it carries on to say, who's really making the decisions and why are they making them? Are they really the best people for the job? I can only tell you that 6 months I was there, it was difficult to say, even for me as a head coach. Who were the decision makers? Who? Who could I talk to? If we wanted to sign new players, it was difficult. There were people, but in the end, it was difficult. Okay. Yes, we understand that. Now, Ralph, again, I don't know if they make you sign NDAs and you can't specifically say specific things, but like, why be so vague, man? Why be so vague in a couple of the sentences? Why couldn't you just be like, why couldn't you give us a specific scenario? Like, I wanted this player. I called Richard Arnold. Richard Arnold told me he got to get back to me. Took him, a month. No word, no answer. I'm calling everybody. Nobody can give me an answer. Why can't you name names? Why can't you give us specific scenarios? Because, I mean, we're all aware of this. Mourinho said the same shit. Mourinho said, there's nobody above the manager to help the manager, really. I mean, he basically said the same exact thing. He said, who's there to help me? Who's there to make the decisions? And Ralph is saying the same thing. But, I mean, to be fair to Ralph, not to be fair to Ralph, to be fair to the situation, I think, or at least we hope, that that's not supposed to be technically going on right now. I mean, there's Ineos, there's Sajim, there's Barada, there's Wilcox, and there's Ravel. So I think the hierarchy is more clear. I hope that the process is more streamlined. And I hope that Ruben Amorim isn't sitting there like Ralph is, and is sitting there and is saying, who's the decision makers? Who am I supposed to talk to? I want the fucking players. And I hope it's not difficult for Ruben. Because, again, I mean, Ralph was about 2 managers ago. Mourinho was like 4 or 5 managers ago. And he went from Mourinho to Ralph. It happened to Ten Hag as well. For the good 2 parts of his tenure. And if it's gone on to Ruben, well, this is exactly what I'm talking about. When I said before, if we cannot fix these issues, we're never going to go anywhere. Because we can't move forward. The football club cannot move forward. And this is why I get angry at Axe when he says that he wants to sack the manager. And I tell him it's not because I'm in love with the manager. It's not because I think the manager is God's gift. It's just because I look at it and I see things like this and I hear things like this. And I'm like, we could sack the manager. But I feel like the next guy to come in, he's going to have the same problems as the guy right now. And the guy before him and the guy before him. And if we don't fix those problems, I don't see any manager in the world that you bring in, even if they can play some good, decent football on the pitch, I don't think they'll succeed. I still think it'll fail one way or another. You know, if the football's not shit and we play decent, but we're not going to be able to continue to go to the level if we have operating problems like this going on in the background with the manager. So, I mean, we need to be able to fix that sort of stuff. You know, people, I'm just looking at, you know, somebody pointed out, just to go back onto kind of like the Rashford Garnacho thing, like somebody, I mean, maybe they put it in better words than I was kind of putting it, but sort of similar sentiment, just saying like, you know, Rashford and Garnacho should have used all that energy to secure moves away from Manchester United. As usual, it's all attention-seeking behavior, but not surprising. And yeah, that's kind of the sentiment that I was saying. Like, that's what I meant, like, by go gracefully. Just go gracefully, bro. And I wish Grace was here, because I could have just said pun intended. But go gracefully. Look, Grace might not be the most gracefully at times, but there's a few more updates we need to get to. So let's just jump around. I'm gonna jump through them. Apparently Fenerbahce made an inquiry for Jadon Sancho, which I laughed when I read this. Can you imagine Mourinho and Sancho together? I will cry. I am crying, laughing when I read this, because as soon as I read Fenerbahce made an inquiry for Sancho, a picture went into my mind of Mourinho and Jadon Sancho in the training ground. And I replaced Paul Pogba with Sancho. And Mourinho just looked at him and go, you're a virus. Like, imagine Mourinho roasting Sancho for missing training or a lack of effort on the pitch and or grinding Fortnite till 2 a.m. in the morning in the press conferences. You know, he cried over Ten Hag, saying what Ten Hag said. I mean, Jadon Sancho is going to go into full-on depression mode when Mourinho would be done with him. So, social media supervisor. Nuba says, we can't even get Mbeumo's deal over the line. At this rate, Amorim will lose his mind by the time preseason starts. Might as well train the youth players now to familiarize them with the system. Well, that's the thing, though. I think he has to, Nubis. And this is why I've been saying, I think he has to. That's why I was saying, like, you know, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, like I was saying, I feel like the youth players, I think he's going to use them. Because I was like, he's not, you know, because he was getting a little bit of criticism for it. But I'm like, I don't think right now is the greatest moment in time. because of how the team was performing and what was going on, and it was really bad, and it was really sort of toxic. There wasn't a lot of patience and stuff like that, and I was like, I just don't think it's towards the end of the season. I know there's the argument and the mentality of like we have nothing to play for, so we have nothing to really lose, so might as well just throw them in. And I always said, but I don't think it's a great time. And Ruben said the same thing along the lines. But I've always felt like for next season, I always felt like he's going to do it, but at the same time, I think he has to do it. I think he has to, because I think of the issues, like you're saying, Nubis. Like, we're struggling at this moment, and if we continue at this rate, he's not going to be in an ideal situation. You know, it's already stacked against him a little bit. And he needs all the help he can get. He needs to be in the best position he possibly can. So I think one of his best bets is be like, listen, the club is operating like a fucking snail, and I got to keep pushing them, but at the same time, I got to cover my ass, and I got to do what I got in front of me. And what I got in front of me is I can't go into negotiations. I can't go to the player's house that we want, knock on their door, and sit their agent down, you know, hang them over a balcony and make them tie a contract. Sign a contract. But what I can do is I have a bunch of these young players, youth lads, and I was like, I can start prepping them, get them involved in the preseason, start like, you know, pushing them a little bit towards like, yeah, I'm going to use you, start getting them in that feeling. And I think he has to take a chance and go with them. I think he does. I don't think he has really an option. I think he has something to do. My comments are censored again. Freedom to ask. I don't know what you say. I don't know what you say, because we don't even have. I shouldn't even say this, but I mean, there's only like a couple words that I've had muted, and that's like, you know, the really bad ones. So I don't know. I don't know what you say. But I guess I don't know. YouTube doesn't let you put them there. I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to say. Actually, Axe, what you can do is, because I would love to know what you're trying to say that's being censored. So if you send it to me in a message on Discord, so I can read it and see what it is, and see if it's bad or not. Because I want to see if you're actually. I want to see if you're actually being censored, or you're saying something that obviously wouldn't fly. I would love to know. I would love to know, because I don't even see it. Like, it doesn't pop up on my screen. I don't see anything. I don't. But yeah, I think Ruben's best bet is to he's got to push. He's got to push. He's got to push for the youth. And that's why I kind of felt like that. I feel like that it's gonna come, because I think that United are gonna struggle to do things that he needs to get done. And we might not necessarily get the best of targets in all areas. And I think probably the best thing that he can do is, you got some young players there that have a high ceiling with a good potential, and they'll definitely be hungry, and they're definitely going to listen to you, Ruben. You know what I mean? These are young guys. They want their opportunity. They're going to be loyal to you. They're going to fight for you. They're going to back you, because you're giving them an opportunity to become a first-team player for Manchester United. You are creating sort of your own slice in the dynamic of the squad. You know, right now you have, you know, Rashford's against you, and Garnacho's against you, and there might be like one or two others that maybe they don't like him the best. Listen, if you're able to bring through maybe like 3 or 4 of these young guys and you use them, you know, they're gonna be Amorim in always, because you've given them the opportunity. They're young guys. They're gonna listen to you. And they're going to be loyal to you, and they're hungry. They're going to fight for you on the pitch. They're going to fight. I think it's one of his best bets. So I hope he does it, because I think if he doesn't do it and he's reluctant to do it, I would call him out for pretty much, one, I think it would be a bad move on his part, but also I would say Well, you know what? It's a bit disappointing because I see him as a guy that he can be ruthless and he can have a pair of balls, when needed. Because I think you don't need it all the time, but I think you need to be able to manage, and sometimes you need that, and sometimes you need, other stuff. And if he doesn't do that, it would disappoint me in the fact that be like, well, to me that just shows that he's scared to do it. He's scared to do it. Because I agree with him last season. I don't think it was a great time. I don't think it was a good situation to do it in. I wouldn't have necessarily done it. I don't think it was a good idea to try and do it at that time. But now going forward, I understand that there's huge implications for next season. But listen, like, we're getting a transfer window. We're getting some players in. Hopefully we get some players out. It's a fresh, brand new season. You're starting the season here from the beginning. And I think that is the time to do the implementation and bring them in. We're starting fresh. So I think that's the perfect time to bring them through. So couple things here. Como are willing to put an offer of over 40 million euros on the table to sign Anthony. And that's why I kind of mentioned before, like, what if Anthony turns down Como? Because he wants to go to Real Betis, and Real Betis can only give us a loan. So we got to still kind of wait and see how that goes. But so far, he's been really professional about it. And again, I don't really, they don't do anything to poke the bear. I don't have any animosity towards these guys. I wish them all the best. It wasn't good at United. It wasn't great. It was tough to watch. I wish him all the best when he goes. I hope he goes soon so he gets his future sorted. We get our money and we get our we can sort out what we need to do. And I hope he does well. And continues to play football. The president of União Tires, Fernando Lopez, has urged Amorim to forget Gyökeres and push Man United to sign Beto from Everton instead. Is this guy smoking drugs? He claims Gyökeres would struggle as a lone number 9 in the Premier League, while Beto's more physical, fights defenders and doesn't lose duels. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, who the fuck is this guy? I need to go, people. See you all, people. All right, Axe, thank you for stopping by. Just so you know, because I don't know if you know, but today's the last show for today for a couple days, because I'm literally on a flight tomorrow. So, I'll keep you guys updated in the Discord about it. But yeah, today's the last show. There's no show tomorrow. We don't got time for it, and it's probably going to be a few days before we get one sort of up and running. So, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Be good, Axe. And yeah, hopefully, probably, sometime in the next week, we'll get something sorted. But the first week I'm going to be there, it's going to be quite busy. I'll try and sort something out. At least one video or something like that, one live or something like that. But I'll see you in a bit. Pretty much, I'll see you in a bit. Nubis says, "Are you visiting the Glazers?" Nubis, let's just put it this way: if I was visiting the Glazers, I would never come back. If I was going to visit the Glazers, Nubis, you would never see me again. You would never see me again. Let's just put it that way. If I was visiting the Glazers, I would never be seen again. I would be somewhere in a box or something of some sort. I would never be allowed outside. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, I don't know what this guy's on, though. Talking about Beto. I don't want no Beto. How can you tell us to forget Gyökeres? To sign Beto? 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 And also, like, why are you getting involved? Focus on your own club. I bet you look great in an orange suit. I mean, I do wear orange for work, because construction, they want you to wear a high vis. I don't really like orange, to be quite honest. I don't like the color orange. On like clothing and stuff. I think I'd rather have them give me like a, one of those classical white and black ones. At least, like, you know, I could get shoes to match. Orange and black. You know, orange is the new black or whatever it is. Nah, not really feeling it. Not really feeling it. Not really feeling it. Who said this? Just don't pick up the soap. Well, don't drop it either. No? Drop it either. Yeah, don't drop it. But I think they make it they make it extra droppable on purpose, I think. I feel like I think that's a thing. They also don't have a place to I'm pretty sure there's no place to like like in your bathroom, like or in your shower, like you got a place to put the bar of soap. Like I don't think they have that. So like just makes it more difficult. Makes it more difficult, you know? I mean, you are in prison / jail. I mean, you shouldn't have the luxury of really having a place to put your soap, but one of the things that we got was Manchester United are eyeing Randall Kolo Muani for a summer move. Just come from L'Equipe. I don't know. Is he really an upgrade to what we got right now? Some people would say yes, because they say Rasmus is the worst striker in the world. But I don't know. I don't think he's really that much better. So, and what else we got left here? What else have we got? I mean, this is coming from Team Talk. I don't know how credible this is, but it says, according to Defense Central, United have their eye on Real Madrid goalkeeper Andre Lunin. United have made inquiries with his agent George Mendes over a potential move. I thought we weren't working with George Mendes anymore because George Mendes didn't let us know that Quenda was going to go to Chelsea. And I thought we cut all ties with George Mendes. So, one of the two is bullshit. We're either still working with George Mendes, and we've made inquiries, or we haven't made inquiries, and we're not working with George Mendes. 6 hours ago, Ineos believes no player is untouchable. Even young talent signed for future value could be sold if an appetizing offer lands on the table. Well, I tell you what, that doesn't really fucking make sense, though. It doesn't really make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It doesn't. So it does and it doesn't. Like, because what is appetizing? Like, I don't know, if you value Ahmad at like 50, 60 million and somebody offers you 75, is that appetizing? Because, like, I don't know what that means. Appetizing. Because I think there's certain players there, like Ahmad, for example, where, like, if he is 50, 60 million, but, like, I value Ahmad as one that, like, we're going to use for the plan that we're building the club. So, like, the only way I'm selling Ahmad is if somebody's giving us double. Because otherwise it doesn't make sense. I think if somebody offers you double, you can do the deal because it makes sense. Because it's like, well, we like this guy and we want to use him. But, like, how do you turn down double the money? You know what I mean? Because double the money, you can use it to reinvest. But if you're telling me, like, Menu is valued at 50 and somebody offers us 62 million, is that appetizing? Because then, to me, it doesn't make fucking sense. What do you think of Lunin? Heard United are interested. I just said that. Did you hear it from me? I think he's a good goalkeeper. He looks like he's a good goalkeeper. I think he looks like he's a good shot stopper as well. And he's young. I would take him. I would take him and hope it works out, but I don't know. Oh, here's Grace. I like blueberries. Hey, Grace. What else do you like, Grace, besides blueberries? Grace, I was saying you should have been here before because I kept saying I want the players to leave gracefully. And I said it about 25 times. And then I was like, I wish Grace was here because I could say pun intended. But you weren't here. So it wasn't the same. But now you're here. But now it's not the same either. What else we got? Apparently the interest that I said that I didn't buy too much into in Richard Rios, apparently it is credible to some sort. It says that the interest in Richard Rios stands as reported 4 days ago. Something about Mason Mount. Former Manchester United Chief scout Mick Brown saying Aston Villa want to help Mason Mount get back to his best. Emery is a fan and believes he can help him rediscover that Chelsea form. No, I don't know about that. 3 hours ago, Dean Jones Soccer, Tactically Matt, and Give Me Sport. McTominay's influence is reportedly helping Napoli push for Jadon Sancho with hopes of convincing him to make the move. United's £72 million signing could be sold for under $20 million this summer. Well, that's where we live. That's where we live, in misery. Grace says nothing is happening. Go and enjoy your summer. Well, you know what, Grace? She says Interest FC. You know what, Grace? Here's the thing. I'm going to call it right now. I could be wrong, but I'm going to call it right now. This tends to happen. Shit like this tends to happen to me. So I'm here right now, right? And I'm available, and we could do these shows like this. Nothing is happening. I agree with you. Nothing is happening. It's been slow. It's difficult to do topical shows because there hasn't been a lot of updates. It's kind of been a lot of regurgitated stuff. And there hasn't been really any movement since basically Mbeumo said, I like United. But I said this to myself yesterday. I was thinking about it. I said there isn't anything going on right now. It's like, it's not even really that exciting. There's no movement. There's nothing. And I said to myself, I was talking to myself. I said, I bet you when I go over there after like a week or two, shit's going to start happening. When I'm busy and when I'm less available and when it's more difficult for me to do the live shows and all that stuff and to keep up with the news and stuff like that. I can almost guarantee while Eric is here, nothing goes on. And as soon as Eric goes on vacation and has like 10 other things to deal with, that's when United are going to start moving and a lot of shit's going to be happening and it's going to be very difficult for Eric to keep up and do the live shows. I mean, you might say, hurry up and go over there so we actually start doing something, Grace. But definitely, I think that's what's going to happen. I'm calling it now. It happens to me every time. It's like, there's been times like, I've been out of work or something. I got nothing to do. And there's nothing going on. Nobody calls me to hang out. Nobody says like, hey, let's go do this. Nothing. Could be weeks. Go back to work. As soon as I go back to work, 3 or 4 people. Hey, you want to go here? Tomorrow? Or are you trying to do this weekend? And I'm like, where were you for the past 3 weeks? I was literally doing nothing and had nothing to do. Now I'm busy and I can't. And now like 4 different people are all calling me saying me, hey, let's go do things. I'm like, and it happens to me all the time. Nubis says we are making peanuts from Alvaro Fernandez. Had we triggered his buyback clause in January and sold him to Madrid for 50 million, that's easily 30 million profit. Yeah, I mean, at least we're getting something. I guess could have been worse. We could have just sold him to Benfica like that, and Benfica could have made all the profit. But yeah, it could have been better. Could have used the money to sign Ait Nouri or Theo Hernandez. Didn't Ait Nouri go to City? Theo Hernandez, I think, is going to Saudi as well. So, Grace says, why were you talking to yourself? Are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? It's just me. Nobody else is listening. Hey, I do that sometimes. I'm not ashamed of it. I talk to sometimes I think out loud, I talk to myself. I'm not crazy person. I'm not psychotic. you know, you have little conversations with yourself. Walk around. I like to think out loud. Say, oh shit, shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that. There's nobody in the room. I'm not talking to somebody else. Um, listen, some people do it, some people don't. Some people don't do it. It is what it is. It is what it is. Tio says Garnacho with Austin Villa shirt. Yeah, we talked about that. What's up, Tio? Yeah, we talked about that. I went on sort of a mini rant about it. Pretty much, I'm pretty much, Tio, I'm just sick and tired of the players doing this. Whether it's Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho, whoever. I said Anthony has handled it gracefully. Pun intended, because now Grace is here for sure. So, handled it gracefully. And that's what I've said. Like, I just wish that they just... Pretty much, basically, I just said, all of them, please just shut up and go do your talking on the pitch. Like, I don't want this stupid social media bullshit, taking shots or throwing shade, putting up a picture. Don't put up a comment, but put up a picture of you in a Rashford shirt, that's in a Villa shirt, of Rashford. Rashford commenting on your social media post, saying, my brother with a heart. It's just go gracefully, dude. I understand you're angry. I understand you don't like Ruben. I understand you're pissed about the situation. But, like, you're not helping yourself, dude. You're not helping yourself. You're not helping yourself at all. Grace said, though we had best in class, we haven't done anything differently to how we usually operate. Cunha was an easy deal. If there wasn't a release clause, he would still be in talks with Wolves now. Yeah. I mean, you are right. And it does seem like that's what's going on right now. I think there's... I mean, I wouldn't say we had best in class. I've always said that I think for sure they were definitely better than Richard Arnold or Ed Woodward, or like John Murtaugh, for example. I do think they're better than that. I think Vivell is probably, again, I will say, I think Vivell is probably the best one we have at the football club. I think he's better than Wilcox. I think Vivell is probably the best one we got. I don't think they're best in class, though. I think there's far superior people out there. I just think it's better than what we used to have. But I think part of the problem that we have, Grace, is even these guys, with kind of the situation that's going on, the financials not being great, but then also you look at the situations of the players. Look at the situations of what we have to deal with. The contract of Rashford, the contract of, like, Casemiro, the contract of Sancho. These things were all pre-Ineos. These things had nothing to do with them. And they're all sort of really bad deals or situations for the football club to have brought on, and they have to deal with them. And I don't think it's easy for anybody to deal with this sort of shit. Because I think probably the easiest way to deal with it, if they're going to do what they're doing and making life difficult, would be if we had a shit ton of money. Like if we had a Sheikh Jassim, and he'd just be like, all right, cut your contract and get the hell out. We don't even need you to stick around. We don't need your money. We have money. But we're not in that situation. And I said last time, unfortunately, it seems like we might be okay PSR-wise, but that's over a long period. That's over, the course of 3 years or whatever it is. But it seems abundantly clear that because we are a little bit low on money, we're not going to move fast. I think we had some hopes that we're going to move fast, but I think because we have to penny pinch, because we have to be fiscally responsible, well, this is why the Mbeumo deal is taking quite long, because I think we're penny pinching. I think we're penny pinching on Mbeumo. I think that's what's happening, because if you put in 55 million and they tell you want 60 or 65, if you're a club that has money and can move around freely and you can do basically what you like, you would probably just go and hit it and get it done with and deal with it and move on. Because an extra 5 or 10 million ain't really going to do you wrong, right? But for us, with all the past mistakes we made, with all the past bad deals, with the bad financial situation, And with the current situation of, like, you see how we're stuck with a bunch of players right now. We can't really afford to be doing that with these signings going forward. So I think they're penny pinching over Mbeumo. I think that's what's happening. I think Brentford are trying to. I think Brentford want like 65 million and stuff like that, and United are trying to get it closer to the 55 million. And I think we've been arguing over, you know, a couple million here and there. So it's unfortunate because, again, Ineos have to deal with it. They're the ones in charge. They're the ones that have to try and problem solve. They're the ones that have to try and find solutions and make shit happen. But at the same time, they aren't the ones that have necessarily created a lot of these situations. They didn't really play into the financial disaster of this football club. That was the Glazers. They didn't sign Casemiro to his contract. They didn't give Marcus Rashford his wage. They didn't sign Jadon Sancho. They didn't sign Anthony. They didn't sign Rasmus Højlund for 72 million. But they have to deal with all of this. And it's very difficult because when you look at it, we all know how bad all of those deals are and how bad the business has been. And if you say, yeah, it was a shit deal or it was shit business, well, then it's going to be shit to deal with and try and get it done. And then you add on the rest of the other stuff, and it just makes it really, 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 really bad. Really, really bad. So that is what a crazy person would say, Eric. Some things are best left unsaid. Gracious can do only one deal every 6 weeks, FC. Yeah. Hopefully that changes one day, I guess. Grace says, we haven't got much money, but we're going to spend 120 million on Cunha and Mbeumo, 40 million on Martinez, and buy a striker. Yawn. Yeah, but amortized. And I don't know if we're actually going to spend the 40 million on Martinez. I mean, it seems like it, but maybe not. But they're for sure, they're penny pinching. I know they are. They are, because they would have just done this deal. They would have just paid the money. They would have just paid the money by now. It's because it's taking too long, and I think. But you know what? Omar made the comments last time, and it wasn't encouraging either when he said, you know, sometimes it's not best for the club to go so fast to something like that. Like, sometimes you need to take your time. And I was like, well, that's not a good indication of what we really want. We've been asking for speed. We don't want to be one deal every 6 weeks FC. We want to be, you know, one deal maybe like, you know, every 2 to 3 weeks or something like that. And, you know, he gave that statement. And I was like, well, that's not really encouraging. And the fact of that, like, we're going to be moving quick. So, Nuba says, if Vivel really that good, shouldn't be able to identify a cheaper striker that about to leave, have a breakout season. All we are doing is moving to another expensive target. The thing about Vivel, though, is he has a place there, but I'm pretty sure the way it works is like Jason Wilcox has more power and has more say than him. So Vivel can make recommendations. Vivel can do whatever Vivel does, and he can, you know, tell them, oh, I think we should look at this guy or we should be going for this guy. And they'll take it on board. But at the end of the day, I don't know, it's supposed to be a committee. I mean, if they don't agree with what Vivel is saying, then whatever Vivel picks isn't going to get brought out. I think Vivel, in my opinion, Vivel as a person that can identify players through his track record, if you go look up who he's been involved in when he was over in Germany and doing things like that, and you see some of the players he picked up for the price that he picked up, it was kind of like, he kind of got in on them before, you know, they started to blow up. So I think he definitely has the eye, and I definitely think he has the brain and the knowledge for it. But the thing is, he, in terms of the hierarchy, I think he's definitely below Wilcox. So I don't know exactly how that goes. Like, I think he can make recommendations and stuff like that. I'm sure they'll, like, hear him out on it. But if Wilcox and the others are like, nah, we want to go for this guy. Well, whoever Vivell recommended means fuck all now. So, and there's also Ruben is involved as well with that. So, Leverkusen found Boniface for under 25 million in Grimaldo for free. Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Like, I think Vivell is probably the best one in terms of identification of players. I think he's really good at that job. I think he's smart, and I think he's actually probably better than Wilcox about it. But Wilcox is basically his boss. So Vivell doesn't have final say, and Vivell doesn't have more power. So I would hope that they listen to him, because I think he can get us some players like that. I think Vivell can find players where you get Boniface for under 25 million or Grimaldo for free. I think he can do things like that. But they have to listen to him. You know what I mean? They have to listen to him, and they have to follow him. And I don't think it's necessarily going to work like that, considering he's not the big boss. He's not the one with the most power. We could easily sign Jonathan David for free. We could. I don't know why nobody seems like they want to sign him, so I don't really understand what's up with that. Gray says we need to find Caicedos and Enzos before they go to Brighton, and I agree 100%, and I would love for us to be doing that, and I hope we one day do that. And I think that's why I say I think Vivell is the best, because I think Vivell can do exactly that, Grace. I think Vivell can find Caicedos and Enzos before they go to Brighton. I think he and Benfica. I think he absolutely can do that, because he did it in Germany. You know, he did it in Germany, and he picked up some very good players before anybody knew them. Before they ever got really into the spotlight. And then obviously they had to be developed a little bit more, but he was on the money about them. Brentford don't have to sell. Just make a good offer. We will end up paying the same at the end if the window, just like Ugarte. They don't have to sell, but I think, I mean, I think it's coming. I think like it's moving really slow, and it's like, instead of taking it like foot by foot, we're taking it like inch by inch, or centimeter by centimeter, or millimeter by millimeter, whatever you want to use in your measurement. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying. Although with my luck, with the way things go for me, we'll get a Bryan Mbuemo. Here we go to Manchester United while I'm either in the air flying or in the airport. So if that does happen and I have time, I will literally record myself. I won't go live because that's not going to work in the airport, but I will record myself, and I will make a here we go Bryan Mbuemo video in the airport. It'll be airport settings. So if I could do that, if that even happens. I mean, it might not happen, who knows. Dorga says, okay, unpopular opinion. What if we use our youngsters in case we don't get the signings we want, like in the midfield or the wingbacks role, like the names of Thwaites, Montanto, and Kone? I don't think it's necessarily an unpopular opinion, Dorga. I mean, we talked about that a little bit before, and we were saying, I said that I think he has no choice, actually. I think with the way United is moving, Grace says every inch counts. You're welcome, guys. Oh my god. She's not wrong. She's not wrong, but I'm just to shake my head. SMH. Yeah, but Dorga, I don't think it's an unpopular opinion. We were talking about it before, and I actually think that Ruben has to. I think he has to, because I think he needs listen, the youngsters they're gonna be hungry, they're gonna be loyal, they're gonna fight for him, and they're gonna listen to him, and also he can mold them into the system. So I think currently, if you're looking at the pace we're going, I think Ruben has to, and I think he needs to, and I think he should try and call up and use as many of the youngsters as we can. Like, as many that are close to teetering on, like, they are ready. I think he should definitely be using them. And I kind of feel like he's going to do that. And I hope. I've been saying that for a month or two. That, you know, like last season, some people were calling for that. And I was like, I don't think it's a good time to do it. I don't think it's the correct time. At the end of the season, it was really shit. And it was a really bad season. And I didn't agree with putting the kids in there. Let the first team professional players that have played like shit, let them finish it out and let them deal with it. They fucking created this mess, or they played a hand in it. I don't think we needed to see the kids. But for me, in my opinion now, going forward, this is a brand new season. He's here from the beginning. He's getting a preseason with them. And I think that he should absolutely be trying to use as many of them. I think he should definitely be using them as much as possible in preseason. And he should be kind of wedging them in as we go along. Start them off maybe a little bit slowly in the beginning of the season, but start using them more and more. Start getting them accustomed to the system. Start developing them into the mold of what you need them to be and what you need them to do. Because like we've seen, like with Aiden Heaven, could be a surprise, but also you could see the kid is like, he's hungry. He wants to be the main guy. He wants to cement himself in that position. He's putting good performances. We saw a little bit of that from Fredrickson. We saw that a little bit from Amos as well. I think he has to, considering the situation that's going on at the football club right now, which we're moving slow. We're struggling to get the second signing in. We don't know what's going to happen with Striker. We don't know what's going to happen with the rest of the targets. We're struggling to do exit sales so far right now. It doesn't look good, bruv. So I think his best bet is to try and get in these youth players. I do. I think it's the right time. I agreed with him 100% when he said he didn't think it was the right time to do it at that time. He said it in an interview, and I was saying that before he said it, and I agreed with him at that time. I think I 100% agree with him on that. But I think, considering this is going to be a fresh start and it's a fresh season, and you can start them off from the very beginning and, you know, progress them throughout the rest of the season, I think this is the perfect opportunity to do it. We're also not in Europe, so I think it's a perfect opportunity to do it. And if he doesn't do it, I'm going to be very highly disappointed, because to me, that's an indication that he's scared. He's scared. I think it's a mistake, but also it's going to be like, you know, I thought you had a little bit more balls than that. And I'm going to be disappointed that you don't, because I think if he doesn't do it, it's going to come off as sort of a weakness of that he's scared to take the chance. And he did it at Sporting, and it worked for him. And you know what? United are known for their youth. They said we couldn't win anything with kids. And I think if Ruben is going to embrace United, I think him doing that at Sporting, he should do it. He should try at Manchester United as well. I think he doesn't necessarily have anything to lose. He doesn't have anything to lose. TGM TV says Rashford needs to go and Garnacho. They do. And I hope they do go soon, hopefully. And I hope we get it done as quick as possible, TGM, because I'm tired of this shit, man. I'm tired of updates coming about Marcus Rashford and doing interviews, and I'm tired of Garnacho posting shade and throwing shots indirectly on social media. Sancho as well. You know, I'm tired of that shit. And Anthony's the only one that's been sort of respectful and humble about it. And, you know, he needs to go as well. But you know, he's doing it gracefully. So, Durga says, until now, I don't understand one thing. Why don't we produce youngsters like Rashford and Garner? They looked so good when they started. The media changed them. Well, we do. We do. I mean, I think we have a good bunch coming up now. The thing is that our club has been such a mess that you say the media changed them. Maybe they did, but I also, again, I don't think our football club did. Listen, when you have a player, this is what I said before. When you have a player like Rashford, when you have a player like Garnacho, when you have a player like Mbeumo, right? These players that have been in your academy, that they come out of your academy and they get into the first team. As a football club, like the club itself, The club is a parent. Those are our children, right? Those are our children. Rashford is our child. Bruno is our child. Like, they are the child of Manchester United. You have an obligation and a responsibility to take care of your children, to make sure that they stay on the correct path, to guide them, to mentor them, to make sure that they're doing the things that they're supposed to be doing, and to try and mitigate the outside influences that might take your children off the wrong, put them on the wrong path, right? And I feel like because our club has been so bad the past like 12 years, our football club has played a hand in letting our players come up or develop the wrong mentality, get influenced by the wrong people on the outside, and let bad things happen that are off the pitch that also happen now on the pitch because of it. So we actually do have quite a numerous amounts of good young players that are coming up. And they're getting closer and closer to the age. And we need to make sure that we don't fuck this batch of our children up. We need to make sure we don't fuck them up, because we've participated in, listen, things like Greenwood. I mean, he's still his own person, and he does his own things outside. Rashford the same, and all the others. But I don't think we were doing everything to make sure that they were staying on the correct path. And at some point, if you're not on the correct path, you're on the wrong path. And when you're on the wrong path, at some point on that path, you hit a point where you are absolutely fucked. And it blows up into something just disastrous. Let's put it that way. So, Grace says, what is that picture of Bruno? Who did this? Sack them. What picture of Bruno? What picture of Bruno? Dorga says, nowadays, these kind of social media things changes a lot with the wings. Oh, I made that. I made that. I made that with AI. So what happened with that, Grace, is I was making one that was like general. It was like, there was no face. It was like a hood. Kind of like the Grim Reaper, I guess. It's like a hood with the sword. The angel, like, death of wings or whatever. So it was just like a figure dressed in like Manchester United robes or whatever. And then I made a couple different ones. And then I tried to, I think I told the AI to put a player in it, and it put Bruno Fernandes. So then I just like kept it, because actually it came out quite good looking. And I was like, that's kind of cool. So I just kept it. But I made that. Yeah, I made that. And if you look close enough on the image, it says Red Lenses MUFC, which is my alternate Twitter account. That's where I'm going to be posting like photos that I create, like wallpapers and stuff like that. So the tag is in that photo. Red Lenses MUFC. It is. At red lens MUFC. That's my Twitter account. I made that. Yeah, social media also plays a part, Dorga, for sure. Youngsters on the bench but not starting. We have enough youngsters in the first team. We need to get them in there though, I think. Like at some point at some point, Grace, I'd prefer, like, if we have some sort of a young, like, CDM type player, I'd rather have them maybe start a game or get some minutes when we're taking Casemiro off instead of using Casemiro, because there's no more future in Cas. This is it. This is the last season. It's done. If we don't get the midfield or whatever, but just like as an example, if we don't get Martinez, Costa, etc., put the young goalkeeper we have in the youth team. I mean, that's the only solution we have. But we got to see. A lot of people have been saying that, and it's not like I disagree. It's just that I don't I don't. There's no indication from the club that that's what they're gonna do. So I don't know if that's gonna happen because they keep talking about trying to sell Onana or Binder and then getting somebody else in. Like if they had a plan to get the young goalkeeper, I feel like they would just say like, yeah, we're gonna get rid of Binder, we're gonna call up this guy to be the second goalkeeper, and then he can push Onana for his spot or something like that. Now maybe that still happens, but I mean, I could also see a scenario where you're telling me like, we don't get Martinez, we can't get Costa, we don't get anybody else, and somehow we're still gonna be here with Onana and Binder both. Which I think can absolutely not happen. One of them for sure has to go. Preferably, I would take Onana out, but I mean, one of them's got to go because we got to get in somebody else in there, in that spot forever. For sure. Dorga says if all the youngsters we produced would have behaved correctly, we would have one of the best teams in Europe right now, like Garna, Greenwood, Rashford, McTominay, etc., etc. Yeah, and that's why we need to fix certain things in our club. You know, I told this to Nubis earlier. I said it's not just about getting rid of the toxic, bad attitude players, because it's sort of like, because he said it's like a cancer, it spreads, and I agree, it does. But the problem is, I don't like to do this because it's a very touchy subject and people lose people from this sort of stuff, but you can get rid of the cancer cells, but if you don't get rid of the tumor, it's going to keep coming back. So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you can get rid of the cancerous players, but if you don't get rid of the root cause, whatever is inside of the club, behind the club, that has caused these players, that has led or aided in these players becoming like this and having this sort of attitude, mentality, and doing that sort of stuff. All we're gonna do is we're gonna recreate this situation again. We're gonna get a couple different other players, and they're gonna ending down this same sort of path that these players have ended up down. So unless we hit the root cause of the target, which is, it's got to be something with the ethos and the atmosphere, not the atmosphere, but the environment behind the scenes inside of the football club needs to be made so that this doesn't get replicated. Can you do Delo as a pitbull? Yeah, I'll try. That's actually hilarious if I could do that. I'm gonna try. Let me see. I'll write it down for you, Grace, I swear. Grace wants me to make Delo as a pitbull. Maybe I'll try to do it. Listen, listen, Grace, we're gonna make a deal. All right, Grace? We're gonna make a deal right now. I will make this for you. And I will, I don't know when I'll try to make it as soon as possible, right? But I will make this for you. But for you to get this, for you to get this image, Grace, you have to join the Discord, okay? You have to join our Discord, Grace. To get this image, because I will post it in the Discord and then you can get it. All right, does that sound fair? Because I want you in the Discord, Grace. I'm sad you haven't joined yet. You've upset me, Grace. You've upset me. I know you have a reason for it, and you don't need to tell me, but I would like you in the Discord, Grace. Give Vitek a chance. He's been on loan and did well. Again, I agree with you guys. I agree with that. Like, why not? We should. But all I'm saying is I don't see the club indicating that that's what they feel they want to do or are going to do. So I feel like at the current moment in time, it's not going to happen. But if it does happen, I mean, I would love for it to happen because I think that would be good for us. But, don't you guys think that somewhere it's our fault for overhyping those players? What, you mean like the fans? No. I don't think so. Because, listen, at the end of the day, fans are fans, and we're allowed to do whatever we want because we're fans. It could be the football club fault for putting them on a pedestal when they didn't deserve it, not keeping them grounded, maybe giving them too high of a wage when they didn't really earn it, or, you know, just too high of a wage when it should never be done, no matter how, you know, not keeping them on their feet and making them feel like they're kings without actually achieving shit. You know what I mean? It's one thing if we won the Prem, the Champions League, and we were doing this consistent basis like how we used to, and you say, all right, you know, Marcus Rashford, 4 past seasons, has been absolutely phenomenal. He's been leading the Premier League. He's been literally our best player. He's a fucking superstar. Give him 300,000 a week. Give it to him. He's earned it. We've won 3 Premier Leagues in the last 4 years. We've won 1 Champions League. He's been instrumental to it. Give him 300,000 a week. You give Marcus Rashford 300,000 a week and you say that he is the superstar of the team. And what the fuck did we accomplish? You know, what did we accomplish in the past 12 years? We've won an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup, and a Europa League Cup. Whoop-de-doo. You know, that's not United standard. That's not United level. So players like this are getting 300,000 a week because they're our best player. But meanwhile, our club is shit and we haven't done great. And this is what I'm saying. They are their own people. They make decisions and they have consequences of those decisions. So they are at fault for their own things. But at the same time, at our football club, they are our child. We are their parent. We have a certain responsibility to try and maintain, to make sure that they stay on the correct path, that they stay grounded, that their head doesn't blow up into an air balloon, right? And we have not done that either. We have played into their hands, giving them money that they don't necessarily deserve because it wasn't based on performances. It was based on commercialism. Giving them preferential treatment, pampering the shit out of them because, like, for example, again, I'm not trying to brag on Marcus, but they did it, so it's a fact. Like, they pampered Marcus, they protected Marcus, they put Marcus on a pedestal because Marcus was popular and Marcus was from the youth academy, and they did it because of commercialism. Because Marcus gets them a lot of attention, Marcus gets them a lot of attraction, Marcus gets them a lot of talk. So they pampered and protected him. That's not the correct way to do things. That's why Marcus has, we have played a hand in Marcus going down the path he's gone. We have played a hand. Because if you go back to Sir Alex Ferguson era, we never did shit like that. We never did shit like that. Why? Because Ferguson he didn't believe in that stuff. He didn't operate that way. Ferguson was a serious guy, and football was before everything. Football was at times was in front of family at certain times. Now listen, he let people go for family things. He's not a monster. But what I'm saying is, like, football was fucking first. It was always first, and there was no excuses under Ferguson. And if there was a problem, you best believe you're not leaving his office until he straightened you the fuck out. Now, there's problems, or previously there could have been problems, like Ed Woodward or Richard Arnold, and they, you know, Rashford's breaking curfew. Oh yeah, but, like, you know, we'll just go to, hey Marcus, listen, we heard that you were out a little bit late last night. Could you please just, like, not do that again? And Rashford's like, yeah, whatever. You know, what are you gonna do? Sell me? I'm your fucking highest paid player. And I'm the fucking superstar of this team. And they're like, please, Rashford, like, please. And he's just like, listen. He's like, listen, it happened. I won't do it again. But, you know, he'll lie. And if he does it again, what are they gonna do to him? Kick him out of the football club? You know, so we've played a hand in this. We've played a hand in this. For sure. When Rashford started getting in the first team, who was the experienced left wing to keep Rashford on the bench? Rashford got the left wing spot and haven't really brought any competition for him since. And that's another good point. And that's also why, you know, just bad operation of a football club. Bad operation of a football club. I mean, you're right. He was basically just given the left wing spot, and at some point he's like, yeah, this is my position and no one's ever going to take me out of this. And I'm the superstar. I'm the superstar. I'm the golden child. Nobody's ever going to remove me from here. I'm the king of this place. And meanwhile, he hasn't really accomplished anything. You know what I mean? It's one thing if you were Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Giggs, Cantona, Beckham, whatever. And you've won the Premier Leagues. You've won the Champions Leagues. You've won the FA Cups. You win the Carabao Cups. You win, you win the Super Cups. You've done this shit and you've been doing it and you do it on a consistent basis. It's one thing. It's one thing. But to come into a United team that was underperforming and you automatically get a spot and you have no competition and then you're made basically the king of the land. And you're the king of the land and you haven't even succeeded in winning the top prizes. It's just a bad precedent to set. It's just a precedent that's going to lead to people having a huge inflated ego because they're earning shit without actually earning it. I mean, they're getting shit without actually earning it. Like, look at Mohamed Salah at Liverpool. They've won the Prem. They've won the Champions League. They've won the other cups. Is Salah getting 300,000 a fucking week? No. Because Liverpool aren't stupid, and they have good people there, and they're operating like a proper football club. And they're not doing it for commercialism. They're doing it for football. But we're the opposite. We've been the opposite for quite a long time. And I hope that it changes. I hope it does. I hope it does. Grace says, like Mbeumo, we just put him in the first team instead of buying a 27, 28-year-old and let Mbeumo learn off the bench. Yeah, well, I think we should have done so, for this, season that we just had. We should have, because, listen, you can come in, you can play, but I think, I don't think it's necessarily a problem if you play. But there has to be options, right? Like, I think if Mbeumo is playing so good at that age, I don't have a problem with them constantly playing. But it can't just be like, you're the only guy there. And that's now permanently your spot. At that age, you still need to be droppable, for sure. You still need to be replaceable, for sure. And you need to be able to have the threat of losing your spot. And at the same time, even if Mbeumo is playing that good, we shouldn't go from Mbeumo getting 40 grand a week to all of a sudden now Mbeumo's getting fucking 200,000 a week or something like that, because we're paying him, but he's done well, but he's getting overpaid because while he's done well, it's not like he's won us the Prem. It's not like he's got us into the Champions League. So we're over rewarding, or we were over rewarding. We got to stop doing that because that creates a bad environment. Which is why even right now, Mbeumo is asking for that wage, because Mbeumo's like, yo, I came in here, I was a fucking kid, and I was one of the best performing players in the entire team that season. And you played me every match, you almost killed me, and I'm earning fuck all. And you got these guys on 300,000 a week pissing about and doing fucking nothing, and I'm getting like 20K. And they're like, and he's like, fuck that, like, pay me, Tuchel Chelsea didn't use wingers at wingback. They used Chilwell and Reece James, and nobody said anything. Why are we hated for not using wingers? Most wingers don't want to play wingback. Why? I'll tell you why. It's literally only because of Amorim. Because Amorim is known for not using defenders. He's known for using wingers. So that's why. That's why. It's an Amorim thing. It's a Ruben thing. Because Ruben was playing wingers at Sporting. If he uses defenders at Manchester United, now it's a problem. You know what I mean? Now it's a problem. But he might be doing that because the leagues are different. Because the football is different. And maybe you can't be that. And Ruben said that. Most wingers don't want to play wingback. He said it. He said it's very difficult to get them to come back and play. He said, you can do it because there's sometimes you get one or two, like Diallo, I think, as a winger, as an actual winger. I think Diallo tracking back and playing defense, I actually think as for a winger, he does it well for a winger. But it's very hard because most of them, they want to go forward. Like, for example, like Garnacho. This is why I always said I think Garnacho can never play wing back because Garnacho doesn't even want to play 10. Garnacho wants to play inside forward, off of the wing, cut in and shoot all day, every day. There's no way you're going to get him to play wing back because he'll go up and he'll never come back. And if he does come back, he's jogging. And if he does come back, he ain't defending. And he ain't winning the ball. And he ain't tackling. Dorga says, I completely agree with you. We should pay enormous wages for players to come to our club. Why should we pay for that's why Osimhen was a big red flag to me. Well, yeah, listen, there's always a fine line. Like, listen, if there's a player proven out there, it's a bit of a difficult one. You can't give them low wages. You have to kind of ante it up and be like, all right, is this worth it? Is it worth it? Because they've proven themselves, they're experienced, they're, top 3 in the world, let's say, in the position, right? We're going to have to pay them, 200 to 250,000 a week. You have to, that's why you need good people at your football club, because they got to make that judgment. But for example, Jadon Sancho, young guy, was blowing up at Dortmund, but young guy. He's, he wasn't, it's not like he was the finished article. It's not like Sancho was 27 and in his prime. He was still young, and he just found himself at Dortmund, like playing good. And what did we do? We paid 80 million for him, and then we gave him a huge wage. Well, it was like, no, but like, we obviously have to give you a pay increase, but we shouldn't have given you that much, because really, you come to United, you need to earn it in that shirt. So we should be giving you incentives to actually fight and play and earn that wage based off of, like playing incentives, pretty much. We got to operate more on merit, for sure. Because in the past, we definitely weren't operating on merit. We were definitely operating on what sells, commercialism and shit like that. So, Grace says, do you think the plan under Ten Hag was to play Mano 6 and Bruno 8, Mount 10 in the midfield? Yeah, I think definitely Mano 6 for sure. I think definitely Mano 6 for sure. And see, with Bruno and Mount, I don't know, because Mount was never fit enough for us to really find out what exactly was the plan for Mount. Like, was Mount there to be sort of backup competition for Bruno, or was the Mount brought in to actually be the 10 and push Bruno to 8? But since Mount was never available, Bruno had to stay at 10 and switch and put somebody else in at 8. That's the one that's a little bit difficult to say, because he just was never available. So we just never knew what Ten Hag was actually going to do with Mount. Because a lot of people theorized that, Mount was basically backup to Bruno. And then people complain about Bruno playing every game and Bruno not getting subbed out even when he's playing shit. And I'm like, yeah, I would always say, yeah, but like, who you want to put in that position if Mount isn't available? Because I always took Mount as sort of the backups as competition, like squad depth, to push Bruno. Because Bruno he's another one of those players that Bruno's always had the position. Bruno's never had any real competition for his position. And so even if Bruno plays like shit and Bruno's having a bad game, you look at the bench and you go, but there's fucking nobody there's nobody to put in there. There's nobody put in there. There's nobody that can even actually take his spot or even come close to trying to do what he does. So it's like, you can argue to take Bruno out all day, but it's like, it's going to be for nothing, because whoever you put in there, they ain't going to do anything anyway. Grace says, I think that's why Quenda wants Chelsea, because he will play as a winger. That's what they said, supposedly, Grace, at the time. They said that he wanted to go to Chelsea and didn't want to come to us because he didn't want to play wingback. And he knew that if he was coming to Manchester United and he was going with Ruben Amorim again, Amorim played him as a wingback, and he did not want to play wingback. He apparently wanted to play winger. Somewhere out there, Lyle is screaming at the screen saying Chelsea have 48 wingers. So, I mean, he's not going to play fucking winger at Chelsea either. But listen, I don't know. They have negotiations with clubs. They promised them shit. I don't know what happens, but maybe they just promised him game time or something, or a pathway or something. Grace says, didn't Man City pay 50 million for Nico Gonzalez and 63 for Marmarouche, and nobody said anything? If that was us, there would be an uproar. Yeah, because nobody gives a shit about them. This is what I'm saying, though. Nobody cares about City. Listen, City have won a treble. City have fucking dominated the league for like the past few years, and it's almost like they've done nothing. You know, it gets talked about at the time, Grace, when it happens, and then literally like a week later, nobody gives a fuck. Like, nobody literally cares. I don't even know a Man City fan. I know one, right? I know one, but like I don't like this. They still don't exist. Nobody actually respects them, and nobody actually respects their football club. So like, nobody takes them seriously. Like, yeah, they're doing shit, and it's fine. It'll go in the books. But when you get Liverpool fans and Arsenal fans and Chelsea fans, like, they still talk about us more, and we're not even in direct competition with them anymore. They still talk about us more than they talk about City, and City are the ones that have been more successful. Nobody actually cares about them. Nobody cares. They don't. The reason why there would be an uproar, Grace, is because it would get them clicks and loads of attention. Manchester City ain't getting them. You know, they're not gonna. There's no reason for them to make an uproar about Manchester City, because it's not going to get them attention. It's not going to get them attention. They do it to us because literally everybody talks about it. Like, again, I have friends that they don't watch the Premier League. They're not fans of Premier League teams. They watch the Serie A. They're Serie A fans. Inter Milan, AC Milan, they still talk about us. They still talk about us. Something happens, they come to me, and they know what happened. And they're not fans of United. They're not fans of the Premier League. They still know. They still know, oh, United did this or United did that, or this happened to United. Like, nobody's doing that for City. Nobody gives a shit about City. So that's why. That's why. It's just not the same. We get more attention. We you know. I think Mbeumo was going to be sitting midfielder in the 3-1-6, and Bruno and Mount as the high 8. Yeah, that's I kind of felt like I kind of felt like he was using Mbeumo as the box to box. You know what I mean? Yeah, I gotta text my friend, bro. We were supposed to go somewhere. Anyway, let me just see real quick before we get out of here. I don't see anything good. Al pushing for Theo Hernandez deal to happen as soon as possible, so that looks like that's happening. From there, I think everybody else can forget anything else. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So guys, listen, I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna go because I still gotta like finish up packing and stuff like that, and I don't have time tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to work, and when I get home, I gotta take a shower, change, and go straight to the airport. So I have no time. So I gotta finish everything tonight, by tonight. So yeah, listen, we're gonna be MIA for a few days. We're gonna be MIA for a few days. Nothing we could do about it. Especially the first week is gonna be really busy because tomorrow I'm traveling, so there's no shot of being able to do anything. Tuesday I get there, but I get there at like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. That's 1 p.m. UK. By the time I get from the airport to the house, settle in, you know, take a shower and get ready, it'll probably be like about 6-7 p.m. I'm gonna go eat dinner or something like that. And then the rest of the week there is the festival from where my father's hometown, from where he's at, and we're going to be doing that. Now they are at night, so you know it's the evening. So maybe during the day at some point earlier, before I go out, maybe I'll be able to jump online. But I gotta set stuff up. So I would say, hopefully, I'll try my best to do a Freestyle Friday because we love Freestyle Fridays, and I think that's probably probably one of the better ones that we can do. So I'll try my best to let's do a freestyle Friday because it'll give us a few days. A lot of shit will happen. I don't know, but I'll keep you guys updated. Obviously, in the Discord is literally the easiest place. I'll try to keep you guys updated in the community tabs, but for those of you that aren't in the Discord, but honestly, you guys should really just get in the Discord. It's way easier to communicate and stay updated. So, Grace says take 3 weeks off, no rush. Still in talks. FC will be here when you get back. I know, but it's not. I'm not rushing for. I'm not rushing for. I'm not. It's not to rush for United. Let's say. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy having the conversations with you guys. Like, look, we had our own conversations today. There wasn't much news to talk about, and like you're saying, Grace, you know, it's still in talks FC. You know what I mean? But we've had our own wonderful discussion, and we've talked about it quite numerous amounts of things. And I enjoy these things, and I enjoy speaking to all of you, and having, you know, these types of conversations and discussions and stuff like that. So that's really why I wanted to get it up and running. And also I'm always transparent and honest. I don't want to do what I did last year, because last year, I'm not gonna lie, I've sort of indicated it, but I never actually said it. But because of what happened last summer, and we stopped rolling pretty much, when I came back, the channel suffered. The channel suffered. The channel was doing very bad in traction and views. And we were struggling with subscribers and stuff like that because I killed the momentum by stopping, and I don't want to do that because we've actually been doing very well. And I want to keep it rolling because I want to keep growing the community. I want to keep growing the channel. And we've been doing very good. So I don't want to kill the channel. Me and all of you have been putting in a lot of hours into this stuff. We do long shows. We do 2.5, 3.5, 4 hour shows. You know, few times a week. So it's unfair for me to go on a really long holiday and basically throw the channel away. You know, I don't think that's fair. It's not fair to you guys. You know, it's not, because you guys are here too. So you guys take your time to be here. So it's not just about me. You know, I have a responsibility now. I have to look after you guys as well. And the community, the channel, you know, it's not just about me. So yeah, I mean, no, I got it. I'm going to try to do my best. It's not ideal circumstances. I wish I had, you know, an ideal dedicated place like I have my PC here so that I could do the streams and there would be no problem at all. So, but we'll see. Undera says hi, everyone. Undera, you came right at the end. Lyle says safe travels, Eric. Thank you, appreciate it. Lyle, see if you could create one of the channels in there for me. I don't know what you would call it. Give it some thought. Create a channel for me in there so I can keep you posted on my journey and my my vacation and stuff. I don't know what we'll call it, but make a tab in there. I'll keep you guys posted. I'll do like little videos, little vlog updates. I'll be in the airport. I'll say what's up to everybody. I'll take some pictures when I get over there and stuff like that. A couple videos and stuff. I want to do that. So no rush. Just, you know, see if you could add a channel and come up with something catchy that we could call it. I don't know what we would call it. Red Devil Travels or something. I don't know. You're good at that stuff. You're better than me at that stuff. Grace says, Eric tries the hottest peppers streaming. Hey, listen, I would actually try that. I do love really spicy stuff. So, I would, if they had it. I don't think they have that kind of stuff over there. You know, they don't have hot sauce there, Grace. They don't have hot sauce. Like, they don't have, like, here in America, we have buffalo sauce. Like wings, like you know, for the buffalo wings. So we have like all types of hot sauces. They don't have that. They don't have it there. It's not part of their culture. They have Tabasco, but Tabasco is not really. It's not buffalo sauce. It's not it's not wing sauce. It's not the same. It's not the same. So they didn't even have that stuff. So Elias says we'll do Eric. Live in La Vida, Malta. Love it. See, this is what I'm saying. Lie. This is what I'm saying. Lie is so fucking crazy. um, Grace says, "Hello, I'm Eric, and I'm about to take over this airport." Yeah, and you know what would be good actually? I'm gonna wear my United kit. Although I feel like maybe I shouldn't, because I feel like I'm gonna be publicly shamed. But I might wear my United kit. That way, you know, if I find a couple other United fans in there, maybe I'll go up to them and I'll ask them if I could get them on video for the YouTube, and like I'll get them, you know, to say a couple things, couple minute videos. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Chad says FIFO. All of you are joining now. We're about to get out of here. Red Devil United says hi all. What's up? What's up? Yeah, pretty much just saying pretty much the goodbyes, because I'm going on vacation, but the channel's not like stopping, but it's gonna take a bit of a few day break to get situated. So today is the last show that we can do at this moment in time. Tomorrow I'm traveling. For any of you that just joined, I'm telling you guys this. Tomorrow I'm traveling, so we can't do a show. It's not going to happen. And Tuesday, it ain't going to happen either. So what I'm aiming for is to try and do a Freestyle Friday for all of you on the upcoming Friday. And we'll see how it goes. I got to get everything situated and stuff like that. But yeah, this is the last show in New York, the last show in America for now, temporarily. And then we're gonna be traveling, and I'm gonna go see my people. It should be a good time. And yeah, get in the Discord if you're not, because we just made a plan where I'm gonna keep all the Discord members posted with my travels and stuff, little vlogs and stuff like that. If you guys are interested, I'll put up some photos of the area so you can see what it looks like, the water and stuff like that. And I have a plan. I'm gonna try and interview a couple of people that I know, friends and mutuals over there that I know that are United fans. I'm gonna try and get them to maybe do 2 to 3 minutes tops. Maybe I ask them one question and get the response about Manchester United. And what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to keep all these videos. I'm going to stitch them together and I will post it to the channel. And then it'll kind of be like, you know, we'll get like a sort of an interview type of thing going with different people and different perspectives from different parts of the world, because I got some friends over there that they're not just Maltese, they come from other places as well. I got some people that actually they're from the UK. I know 1 or 2 people from Manchester. They come to Malta, so I'd love to get them on and ask them what they think and what they're feeling and stuff like that. And I think if I could get a good collection of people, I think it would actually be a really cool video to show, you know, different United fans, different opinions and different thoughts from different places. So Chad says safe. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. Darius says enjoy your holiday. Eric, see ya. Yep. Well, I mean, we're gonna be coming back live eventually. So again, I'm aiming for Friday. That's coming up. I'm gonna try. For those of you that aren't in the Discord, I'll try and keep you posted. But be on the lookout for shows, because we are still gonna do lives. We're not gonna disappear. Grace says, hello, Eric. Hello, I'm Eric, live from Valletta Airport. I have over 3,000 subs. Please like and subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome. A mini vlog out of Malta. Yeah, that's what I really want to do that. I think it would be great. So I bought a gimbal. If you don't know what a gimbal is, it's like kind of like a selfie stick type of thing, but it stabilizes the phone. So you could get some really, really good shots. And I also have dual microphones. You know those little microphones, they clip here? I have that. So I have the equipment to do this. So I'm going to attempt and see how it goes. I don't know. It depends, because some people, they're not comfortable on camera. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I would love to do it. I think it's a great idea. I think it would be really cool for the channel. It's something different we could do. So I'm going to try. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to do whatever I can. If I'm still there, because by the way, I might be there for a while. I might still be over there when the season starts. So, you know, like last year, like, you know, we played 1 or 2 games, and then I came back. Might be the same situation. If I'm there for one of the matches of the first match of the season, if I'm still over there, I might live stream us watching the game. You know what I mean? Like the crowd, the people, and stuff like that. I don't know how that would work out well because I think it's going to be quite noisy. So I don't want to like destroy anybody's eardrums. But I have a couple things in mind that we could do. What is your favorite polo? The suite, the shirt, or the sport? I like I like the t-shirts. I don't know which ones those are, but I don't like the ones with the collar, you know, the collar and the button. Not a fan of those. Again, you guys know I'm not a fan of the collar thing. I don't look good in them and they do quite annoy me. But I like the polo t-shirts. I have a bunch of those, just the regular t-shirts with the regular collar. Um they also have athletic ones now if you don't know. Um with the athletic type of material. It's not fabric. It's like stretchy. Those are actually quite comfortable as well. Lyle says, "Remember wide angle." Yes, that's what I got the gimbal for. So now we know when I go live, the phone has to be this way before I hit live. Otherwise, it's going to be like this. I thought you can turn it. You know, inexperienced YouTube streamer. This is what happens. So that's what happened the first time. Also, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'm gonna throw the phone in you know, a fucking bucket of ice or something. But we can't have it overheat, and we can't do another fridge stream. So we gotta find out. We gotta find out. I'm bringing a tablet with me as well, so that because since I'm gonna do the streaming from my phone, I have a tablet. I'm gonna bring the tablet so I can look at the news and search the news, so I could actually know what the hell I'm talking about while I'm live, because otherwise then I won't be able to see the updates, and I can't get the updates on the screen because we're not going to have this studio. So yeah, you know, we got some things going for us. We got some things going on for us for sure. But that's pretty much it. Dorga says, "Hey man, just want to say thanks for everything you're doing for us, and it means a lot for me because it's the first time that a content creator invests so much for his viewers. Love you, broski. Thank you, man. That means a lot to me. Really does. Really means a lot to me. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. And again, I do it because you guys are here supporting me, so I gotta do the same for you. You know, we're a team now, and we're a family, and we're a community, and we're in this shit together. So you know, you guys give me again. I always say this because it's true. You guys don't have to be here. Nobody has to be here. Nobody. You guys chose to be part of this community. You choose to come here. There's a million channels that do United content. You know, and if I, like I always say, if I do a 3-hour stream, you guys are here. If I do a 4-hour stream, you guys are here for 4 hours. If I do 5 hours, you're here for 5 hours. If I do 6, you're here for 6. So I gotta, you know, we're in this together. We're a family, man. We're a family. Dorga says, "I'm a chef in Tennessee and I'm watching your live while in busy service." I love it. That's awesome, man. Tennessee, my sister's fiance is a big Tennessee Titans fan. And they went down there. They said they loved it. And I told them next time they go, I'm gonna go down there. So yeah, if that happens, Dorga, you want to you're a chef, maybe I'll come through to where you chef, and we'll get something to eat. That would be cool too. We could meet up or something like that one day. That's amazing. But big salute to all of you. Love it. Tour of Malta. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna try and do, Grace. I'll do it in pictures and stuff like that, or whatever, little vlog videos. You the only one I can pop out for a couple hours and come back and still live. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, SK. I mean, it is for a certain aspect, but it could be good and it could be bad, SK. It could be good and it could be bad. You don't know, Eric. I'm pretty sure I said that on my first time here, and now it's like, oh my god, this guy talks shit. we're gonna sit down and talk about Man United for hours. To be fair, that's it. I love you guys. You guys are the best. I'm so happy that I started this thing, and I'm so happy that all of you found the channel, man. It's just it's amazing. It's a blessing, really. I mean, the internet's a huge place, and you can get a bunch of weirdos or just not very nice people. But I'm lucky enough that the people that are here, you guys are just fantastic, man. You've been fantastic, and you guys have helped me. You know, listen, it's not easy. You know, a lot of listen. I'm not trying to say it's the hardest thing in the world, but listen, some days there's just like some days you're just not in the mood to do this. Some days you're not in the mood to talk about United. But I always feel like I have a responsibility to the channel and to the show, and I got to do it. Sometimes you're having a bad fucking day, man, and you don't want to do this thing. Sometimes, you know, you do a video and it doesn't go well, and it's shit, and you get discouraged, and you're like, you know, is this thing even worth it, or is it working out? But you know what? I say you guys make it worth it. That's what it is. You guys make it worth it because you guys are always here. You guys are always here. You guys are always supporting. Look at the VIP members, the super chats you guys send, you know, all of that. So you guys make me keep going, pretty much. So I love you guys. I appreciate all of you. You guys are the best. SK says, what's the Discord link, bro? I don't know if Lyle has it. Oh, right here. I'm gonna pin it. Lyle put it in the comment. It should have switched by now. If you see at the top, there's a comment underneath the poll. It should say Lyle Wilson, and there's a link there. Also, you could just go into the bio of the channel. It's in there. SK. So yeah, I mean, get in there. Grace says, you come back in 2 hours and Eric is still in Talks FC. Grace says, have some days off and I'll take over. I promise your channel will still be here when you come back. I don't know. I don't know, Grace. Why do I get the vibe like my channel will be burned to the ground? Or why do I have a feeling that when I come back, it's not going to be called Red Devil Experience, but it's going to be called Diogo Dalot Experience, with a picture of Dalot instead of the emblem that we have, smiling from ear to ear with a thumbs up going like this. But yeah, SK, that thing is up there. Let me know if you got it. It should be up there. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Oh, there he is. Magnifico 88. That's you. Is that you? Magnifico 88. Red Devil Experience Talks FC. That's right. Oh, we're gonna change the channel to Talks FC. All right, we got another member in the Discord. Grace. Grace. Yes, sir. We in this joint, he said. That's right. Grace. Grace. I'm calling you out, Grace. Calling you out. Get in the Discord, Grace. Get in the I'm actually really upset that Grace hasn't joined the Discord. I'm really upset. I am. I'm being serious. Grace, you hurt my heart. I thought you'd be in the Discord, Grace. I don't know why you're not in Discord. It's really a good place to be, Grace. We want you in there. You do good things. You do good things. You do polls and stuff like that. We could use you for that as well. And actually, you just said you ask good questions. So actually, you would be big to the Discord to help it along. So please, Grace, please. I don't beg, but I'd like you in there because I value you. And you've been here for a long time, Grace. And you are one of the moderators. You were one of the first moderators. And I just feel like you belong in there. So get in there. Get in there. But other than that, thank you guys. Love you guys. Appreciate you. You guys are the best in the world. And everybody just be safe, be good. Hopefully United does some things to make us happy. Even if I can't even do a live, you know, I still hope that they do it. Because I know the rest of you will be excited. Posing questions while my life is complete. Well, come on. No, but you got good opinions and stuff like that. And you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You are a valued member, Grace. I mean, you come in here, look what you did. You came in here, you took over the show, you asked good questions, you have good responses, you do excellent polls, you do it all. You do it all, Grace. You do it all. You do it all. Listen, Grace, if I didn't care and I didn't actually want you in here, I wouldn't ask. I'm not that type of person. So, you know, if I didn't actually care, I literally wouldn't be bothered to ask. So, you know, I just feel like it's not the same. Like, you show up in the channel and you're not in the Discord. I'm like, it just doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't feel right to me. So yeah. But all right, for real though, we're gonna get out of here though for now. Cause we do gotta go. And I'm sweating because it's 8,000 degrees down here. There's no AC down here. Grace says I'm a mod. I'm a big time now. I'm recognized on the streets. All right, we're getting out of here. We'll speak very soon. I'll keep in touch with most of you in the Discord. Everybody be good. Have a good night. Have a good, the rest couple of have a good next couple of days. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. Be good. Stay safe. Love you all. Thank you very much. You guys are the best again in the world. Discord link, please. All right, hold on. I got you. Before I go, I will do this. I will do this. I will do this. Hold on. I'm opening the Discord. Yep, here. Invite people. Copy. Go in here. Type in here. Hit paste. There you go. That's the Discord link right there, Durga. Let me know when you hit it. Let me know when you hit it. I will wait for you. Don't worry about it. It's okay. I just want to make sure you get it. I want to make sure you get it, and I want to make sure you're in there. So as soon as I say that it's seen, as soon as it says that you joined, then we're good to go. But yeah, we're gonna kill it in the Discord for sure. We are gonna kill it in the Discord for sure. Discord is great. I mean, Lyle created the whole thing. If you're new to it, Lyle created the whole thing. Because I was just, I was like Richard Arnold, or Ed Woodward, just too incompetent to do it. And Lyle did the whole thing, and he literally outdone himself. He did it in a day too. Set it up really, really well. And look at Lyle, man. Look at Lyle. He already made the Living La Vida Malta channel. He's already done it. I mean, yeah, you can't ask for a better guy, man. You can't ask for a better guy. So yeah, we already got that going. Discord is the place to be, he says. It is because listen, when we're not live, we can still talk. And also, the Discord it's not just, you don't join it just for me. You join it for everybody else as well, because you guys can interact with each other. You don't need me. So the community is a place where you guys can link up, have talks with each other, and make new friends and new connections. And also, we have topics in there that are not directly related to Manchester United either. So if there's some things, and also, if anybody ever has suggestions or anything like that, Lyle, do we have a suggestion page? We do. See, we have a suggestion page. So if anybody has any suggestions for anything that they want, they can type it in there. We will listen, and we will look to implement them if we think they're a good idea. So it's more of a place for you guys than anything. It's for you guys to connect to each other, to stay connected, to make friends, to make connections. And my hope for the Discord really one day is that, if it does get so big, like if the channel gets big and the Discord gets big, I would like to see, I would love nothing more than for people that might have not known each other to connect with each other in this Discord, and for some sort of opportunities or things to come out of it where, maybe people have some similar interests and they connect to make a project or something like that. I've heard many stories of some very big successful discords. It's really cool. I mean, I know one. They do a political type of show, right? They do like news, like politics news. They have like some 20,000 members in their Discord. I mean, people have literally gotten married from their Discord. Businesses have been created inside of their Discord from people meeting each other. I think that's like one of the most amazing things ever in the world. I think it's really, really cool. And I would love for that to maybe be one day a reality where shit like that can happen, where, people can meet each other and things can happen. You can start a business. You might have somebody that has a similar interest about something. It would be amazing if we could ever get that. Baba is here, says GGMU. Guys, how y'all doing? We're good. Who you got game 7? Oof. I don't know, SK. It's tough. It's tough. I think I'm biased. I want OKC to win, but I don't know. But I mean, OKC is home, is they not? Oklahoma City Thunder. They are home, aren't they? So, but I think, yeah, at Thunder. But I also kind of feel like the rig is in a little bit. The rig is in. I feel like they want the Pacers to do it, so they can make Halliburton the new Jason Tatum, and then next year they'll let the Thunders have another go and get shy to get it in. I don't know. Lyle says we do. Welcome and info has everything we need. Suggestions, house rules, etc. Yes, thank you for that, Lyle. Appreciate it. Grace says I started a journey career on EAFC 25 at Galloway United. Oh yeah, you did. I saw you say something about that the other day. I was actually at work when I read it, so I couldn't get involved. But it sounds like fun. You know what I mean? Sounds like fun. And keep us posted and updated in that. I mean, I know you have your own Discord, Grace, but you could even give us the update. You could even update us about it in our Discord as well, and let the gang know. You know what I mean? Let the gang know. Let the community know what's going on. I'm sure, but they'll like things like that. We all football people at the end of the day as well. So Steph says 17 likes. Yes, thank you to everybody that smashed the like button. Thank you to all the new subscribers, to anybody that subscribed. Shout out to all of you. Shout out to all the VIP members as well. You guys are great. Shout out to all the regular members as well. You guys are goats as well. And just shout out to all the chat members and everybody involved, all the channel. Grace says, nah, my Discord is dead. No, but what I'm saying is, like, you could share it in our Discord, Grace. Like, you could share it in our Discord. You could share it in our Discord. I have no problem with that, Grace. You could share your thing. I voted on my poll. You voted on your own poll. Listen, it's all right. That's why. Just join our Discord. Get in our Discord. Well, even if we need to, we can make a tab for that. And we can make a FIFA tab, and you could, people that play FIFA, they could share their own journeys and stories. I'm not that fussed. Again, we're all in this together. We're a family. It's not like I'm not going to get mad at you or anything like that. We're a family, so absolutely. I'll be more than happy to give you a little spot inside the Discord, Grace, if you want, so you could share your things as well. For things that you do. I have no problem with that. If anybody wants that, they could ask me for it. I have no problem with that at all. I would actually love nothing more, because last thing I'm gonna say, I'm gonna be real. But the real question is it mandatory? It's mandatory for you to join the Discord, Grace. It's mandatory for you to join the Discord. You got to be in there. You got to be in there. But last thing I'm going to say before I get out of here, and this is for real now. I'm being for real, and that's it. I'll tell you this. My biggest hope and my biggest dream for this channel is I would love nothing more. I don't want to say it like this, like, all right, but you see, like, how the United stand is like that big, or even United View is pretty big. I would love nothing more than to have that sort of amount of like a community, because I think when you get that sort of amount of a community, you can do a lot of things. And ultimately, my goal at the end of the day, I would love nothing more than to have started this with originally myself and then you guys, and be able to create things for the community members, like opportunities, and to be able to change people's lives. I think that would there would be nothing better, because I don't know, I just feel like, as a person that used to watch these content things and sit there, and I would look at the channels, and I used to sit there and I used to think, man, I would love nothing more than to be a part of that show. I would love nothing more if I was able to get an opportunity to become part of, whatever channel it was, be on the channel, and, like, sort of have my life change, because they're big enough and I could probably do okay for my life, and I'll be able to talk United, which I love, and I'll be able to be part of a community and stuff like that. And financially, I should be okay as well, since they do well. And I would love nothing more than if the channel was able to provide a platform so that people out there, if they want to take the opportunity, they can in the future maybe join me on shows. If we're doing well enough, we can have a panel, we can have more people, and we can create opportunities for people, so that some people that maybe they don't like the job that they're doing, maybe this is something that it would be a dream for them to do, and we can provide that opportunity for them and actually make an impact, and change people's lives and make it positive. Because you know what? There's some people out there that their lives aren't that great, or they're miserable. And I just feel like sometimes, like, there's a lot of people out there, and they keep it very closed off to people. And I've always just felt like if I was in their position, I would try and give back to as many people as possible, because I've been there as well. I've been there as well. I've been there, like, looking at things, and I'm like, shit sucks and shit ain't going well. And I would love nothing more than an opportunity, if somebody can give me one, so that I can try and change my current situation. And then my head goes to, man, I wish I had what they had, because I'd be trying to help people as much as possible. And I know for a fact that there's a lot of people out there that they've felt the same, and they look at the situation and they feel stuck. And I think it would be magnificent if we can make something that at the end of it, we can create endless opportunities for people, and change their lives, man. That's really what it is. So, um, you can't manually change the sub count. Just put a few. No, we don't lie, Grace. You can't lie. It's 100% mandatory. Lyle says you will get there. RD will get there. Actually, we will get there. Yes, we will get there. We will get there for sure. I know we will. I know we will. I know we definitely will. It's going to be a long road. It's going to take a while, but we'll get there. I know we can, because I believe in us. I do. I really, really do. I believe in us. And you guys, again, you guys have given me positivity and hope, really. And just, I guess, the motivation just to never let it go. There's going to be shit days, but we've also had some very fantastic days, and, days where I've been surprised. And, like that day that you guys just all started buying the VIP. I didn't ask for any of that, and I didn't know that was going to happen. You guys did that on your own, and that was just really nice. It was unexpected. There's days where we've hit 1,000 views and stuff. There's days where we've had 50 viewers. You know what I mean? Like today, we got about 300. It's all right, not bad. But there's days where we did 1.5k. It happens, but as you guys show the loyalty and the support, and you guys are always here, so I'm always coming back. As long as you guys stick around, I'm always coming back for sure. So, Steph says we are all future United board candidates. That's it. That's the big money move that we're making, Steph. I love it. I love it. We're gonna get so big, and we're gonna make so much money that we're coming in and we're taking over the board at Manchester United. And by that point, we're gonna have to have Delo Jr. playing right back. because I think Delo will be retired by that time. But we'll have Delo Jr. at right back. We'll have Delo Jr. playing left back. And Graves will say they have to play, it's mandatory. And then the fans are going to be pissed at us for being involved, but we'll make it happen. We are. We'll get to the. We'll have so much influence and so much power and so much money that we're gonna get. All of us are gonna get on the board, man. Dude, spoiler, I'm gonna buy the Glazes. Let's go. We gotta get rid of Sajim too. But if you buy the Glazes out, they go as well. So I guess it kind of makes sense, you know. But all right, I gotta go for sure now because it's late. It's really late, and we gotta go. So, thank you guys. Love you guys. Appreciate every single one of you. Grace, you mandatorily better be in that Discord. Baba, you joined the end of the show, but shout out to coming. Shout out for coming. I missed something. Dorga, I hope you found the link. You should have. If you didn't, if anybody wants to join the Discord, we'll post it under the show after I end the live. So it'll be in the comments section. And also, if you just click on the channel and view the channel, it's in the bio of the channel. It's at the bottom, I think, of the, or whatever. It's where the description of the channel is. There should be a link for the Discord. I don't know if it still works because apparently, for whatever reason, I can't seem to get one that's permanent. So yeah. Steph says transfers might happen a wee bit faster, just a wee bit. And Lila says cheers, Eric and all the Reds. Cheers. Good night, everybody. I speak to you all very soon. Thank you. I'm gonna miss you for the next couple days. Be good, stay safe, and yeah, we'll stay in touch in the Discord for the time being. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.